All right. We are today. It is very, very relevant day. It's the first half of the inflation data. It's a little bit different. Like usually, CPI is ahead of this report today, which is PPI. But for whatever reason, they're doing it backwards. We also have the Fed minutes report later on today as well. Let me get some music playing here too. There we go. And yeah, we'll talk about what we can expect from this report. And yeah, hit the like button as you come in here, and we appreciate it. Expectations today, I think they're like 0.3%, 0.2%. I'll have to look and see exactly what they are. But let me see. All right, so yeah, inflation data is expected today at 0.3%. So that's what I thought it was. We got Fed Waller speaking at 10:15. But yeah, PPI expected to show a very important report. It's the other side of CPI, which is a pretty big report. So yeah, pretty decent report here. Hey, what's up, Alyssa, Mahar, Bob? All right, guys. Yesterday, somebody got me in this jiu-jitsu submission. I want to say it was called a banana split, or it might have been the electric chair is what it was. But it sucked. Yeah, I mean, I'm still on TOS. I didn't switch to Schwab. Not that I know of yet. How do you think gold will move? I really have no idea what gold's going to do. No idea. Usually CPI. Yeah, do me a favor. Bump the like button. I appreciate it. What's up, Arif? Is Tesla and NVIDIA a good day? Trade for today. I mean, define good, you know. I don't know whether you should day trade them or not. I'm up pretty nicely. I mean, in my portfolio, dude. Like, we're up nicely and everything. Here's the SPY itself. Again, SPY gapping up again today. Huge green day yesterday, man. SPY ripped all the way back up to 437s. Again, man, like, people act all doom and gloomy, bro. Nobody listens. You know, nobody listens. We called this. We told you guys we were at the very bottom of this trend line. You know, we drew the trend line out. We showed you guys this chart numerous times. And you never know for sure. And as I always preface everything with, like, you never know. But it's pretty clear, I think. You know, we can have some technical haters, but generally long-term trends, you know, follow pretty well. Yeah, I never had to switch out of TOS yet. I think they said I had to switch next year, but All right, guys. Yeah, Nvidia all the way back up to almost 461. It's approaching, 500 again, which is big. It's approaching 500 again, which is huge. So we're almost up to 462s on Nvidia. And again, I think Nvidia is dragging the market up and down. Tesla obviously has had a pretty good couple days. It's up to 265s right now. All right. Yeah, what I got caught in as a submission is the electric chair, and it sucked. Maybe I should just stretch more, All right. Yeah, SPY up to 435s, man. Almost 436s, dude. My whole portfolio is looking pretty nice in stocks. Why is gold pumping? Well, gold's pumping because the rest of the market's pumping, man. Gold most of the time follows the whole market, right? So like gold is usually just following the market, right? Gold up to 1800s or almost 1900s now. Gold's just following the market, man. Usually gold outperforms the S&P. And if you look at a yearly chart on gold, and then you look at a yearly chart on the S&P, they're similar enough. Now, they're not exact, but they're similar enough. They're both having like good green years over the last 52 weeks. And so they're similar enough, Good morning, John. And all, in my opinion, we're entering a bull market with the hint of no more rate hikes from the Fed. Yeah, I hope so, man. I really do. I'm not sure if that's what we're in, but I hope so. Hey, what's up, Snow? What's up, Al? But yeah, gold up to, if we look at gold here. No, wait, gold is just slash GC. Yeah, if we look at gold here, gold's popping up big today. I don't know if it's like the macroeconomic problem, but again, here's the SPY. And then if we zoom in here, gold is very similar to the S&P. It moves a little differently though. Here's 2007, 2007. And so it's not exact regarding gold, but when you flatten them out, they're pretty similar. And so on a longer term trend, they tend to follow each other. Short term, gold can do whatever, but I think the whole market is pretty optimistic right now. I think, the S&P's gapping up a lot. Look how much the S&P. The interesting thing though is like yesterday, when we look at let's see where the market was yesterday. So here's yesterday open at 8 a.m. I don't really watch gold that much during the actual market hours, but yeah, here's the opening hours for this, and then you can kind of see the opening hours for this. So market was a little bit more green, and I just hope we hold, man. I think we're already in a pretty good spot, though. Again, I think we're confirming this trend. And again, PPI inflation data drops this morning. It's a pretty big report. It's not a small report at all. Oh, dude, I got shin splints, man. There's not a single reason to hike more. The more they hike, the more the state will suffer. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly the next 3 days I'm going to be incredibly busy as a YouTube guy, stock, market futures guy. I'm going to be incredibly busy. How about those Astros? All right, guys. All right, team. Yeah, so y'all heard Charles Oliveira is out versus Makachev, right? Y'all heard Charles Oliveira out. Unfortunately, I think Volkanovski's going to step in. Yeah, what's up, Ricky Yelton? John, will you be starting early on Friday? Probably. Yes, we're probably going to start early. Well, no, it's going to be a busy day for me streaming because, again, so we have PPI today, Fed minutes report this afternoon, CPI tomorrow. I'm debuting a video as well as bank earnings Friday, and then next week we have earnings season full starting, right? So honestly, we kind of got earnings season starting today. If we look at earnings, we got some earnings that dropped this morning, or no, maybe it wasn't this morning. Maybe it wasn't tomorrow either. Okay, yeah, so earnings start tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, not only do we have CPI, but we've got Delta Airline earnings, Walgreens earnings, Domino's Pizza earnings, Fastenal earnings, and a couple other ones. And then again, Friday's the big one. We got JP Morgan, United Health, BlackRock, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Progressive, PNC Financial, and just a bunch of other stuff, dude. So we got a lot of earnings that drop this week. And then next week we have Tesla earnings. So it's like this week's big, next week's big. Walmart ripped up too, so that's nice. But again, here's the NASDAQ, a little bit more tech heavy, up to 370s basically right now. So it looks good. Again, PPI is expected to show up. I'm going to put a timer up as well. All right, team. So again, yeah, so 0.3% is what we're expecting here. 0.3% is what we're expecting for this report today. 0.3%. Now remember, higher is typically worse, although PPI is a little bit different, bro. PPI moves differently, to be honest, than other stuff. So like PPI, I've seen PPI have good and bad reactions to higher than expected numbers. And so producer pricers have a little bit different of a nuance, than PPI generally does. So, hey, what's up, Jonathan? SMC, I greatly appreciate your thoughts. Are you bearish today? Kind of. But I think anything could happen. I mean, I try not to take too big of like stances ahead of this report, ahead of these type of reports, just because, extension is technicals, this is fundamental. Like, so extension is based off of technicals. Like, we're up too much, we're down too much. It's a technical concept. But today's report is fundamental, and so fundamentals generally trump technicals. So like, I try not to take any big bet on positions or outcome, and that's where a lot of people make a mistake, is like they just kind of want to gamble, they want to risk something, and so they end up taking big positions ahead of these reports, and it's just usually not a good move. Most of the time you end up losing money. Super microcomputer. Yeah, I've never really heard of this. What is it? I mean, good chart. Very nice chart, to be honest, which is honestly, most of the time, when you first said this, and then I heard somebody else say it, oh, look at this. At first, I was worried about pumpers. So they're just trying to pump the stock up. I was worried it was a penny stock that people were trying to pump up, to be honest. But when you look at this is a pretty solid chart. I mean, if you look at a yearly chart, it's a pretty good chart. It's gone from 50 to 300 in a year. On a weekly chart, it's even more impressive. It's gone from, in 2018, it was at 25 a share. Now it's at 310, and it's holding. Again, I don't really know much about this company, but yeah, I mean, look at the chart. Long-term chart's good, very strong. It's up hundreds of percent. What's up, Yair? Yeah, I don't know much about this, though, as a company, but it looks good. Information technology company. It's AI based then, right? Been in San Jose. Yeah, it brings in about $7.12 billion a year. Good revenue, high revenue. Year to year, its revenue is up about 34%. Net income is up about 40%. Diluted EPS is up about 31.5%. Net profit margin is up about 2.9%. Their earnings call last beat by 21% in June. Looks like a good company. Again, I don't really know much about it, but looks good. Anyways, gold team. Here's Tesla as well. So here's Tesla at 263s. So the big thing that people are talking about now is weight loss drugs. Yeah. Yeah, so basically Pepsi and other like soda companies are worried that these weight loss drugs are going to impact their business. What I'm asking is, like, what do these weight loss drugs do? Do they suppress hunger? Because that's what I would assume is what it would be. I'm assuming it's just going to suppress hunger, but I'm not 100% sure how that works. So Birkenstock, the shoe company, IPO'd. Yeah, one of the methods. That's what I would assume. Do you like AI stock called Path Chart? I don't really know much about that either. Path? UiPath. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's kind of the wild west of AI. They're gonna have a lot of people that move. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There are a lot of hype are getting around these. They're affecting markets too. That's why I'm covering them, is because they're relevant to markets. You know, the biggest ones currently are Wegovy and Ozempic. They turned Denmark's Novo Nordisk pharmaceutical company into a $400 billion company. They were Eli Lilly is getting in on the action. They're going to do weekly injections called tirzepatide. And so, yeah. Again, the SPY up to 440s. You're the people's champ. Yeah, we try. Problem is that they only work when you keep taking them. Yeah, I mean, but again, I want you guys to understand this about pharmaceutical companies in general, right? It's important to understand this aspect of pharmaceutical companies, which is pharmaceutical companies don't want to cure anything. You can look at the history of medicine and see that pharmaceutical companies do not want to cure things. It's just not enough margin, not enough profit for them, right? So what they do instead is they want to sustain, you know, they want it to help the problem, but not fully, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about any of these companies. Again, y'all do me a favor, bump the like button if you haven't already, team. We appreciate it. All right, guys, it is time. PPI inflation data goes live today. It's a big day, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to put a timer up. Yeah, so it is 7, so we got an hour and a half. Yeah, we got an hour and a half. Hour and a half until the report comes out. And again, let me know if you guys think it's going to come in higher or lower than expected. We're going to get a poll going live like we always do right here. Will PPI inflation data come in high or low? High, low, as expected. I don't know. All right, vote on that poll. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about the eToro risk-free investment where they guarantee wins if you stick with the copy for a year? They pay you. What do you mean copy, Nas? Is it like copy trading? I think it probably has something to do with Nas. I think what they're probably doing there is they're just investing the money. And so I think they're just investing their money and they're using other people's money as leverage. And then if they lose, they're just paying them back whatever they lost. But if they win, they're taking a piece of it, which is probably like, because the probabilities long-term, again, I talk about this all the time, but the probabilities of green action long-term are very high. And so, you know, the more you zoom out, the more likely it is that the market's going to go up and that, you know, people are going to use money. And so they're basically getting people to give them leverage. The consensus is now no more hikes. Yeah, I know the Fed speakers helped us out a lot too. How's AMC doing, man? AMC looking much better. I mean, honestly, AMC has pushed up so much. It's at $10 a share. Good for it, man. Let's see if it continues. There was mention of another hike. I mean, we can look here. It's still pretty low probability that we're going to raise rates again. And so we can look at what the expectations are for a rate hike. Again, it's still pretty low probability. We're at 525 to 550. But again, I'm not sure, Nas. I'm just kind of guessing. Is it short-term trading or long-term trading, Nas? Oh, it's a beach bum. Because that's going to influence what it is, you know. If it's short-term trading, there's still a lot of risk, and I don't know how they would be able to do that. I think they'd probably just be trying to bring in users, but I'm not sure there, to be honest. All right, guys, let me check my Top Step account. All right, guys. So we got our new Express funded account live. Let me exit out of some of these, man. Yeah, so it's still pretty probable that we're gonna pause or skip. 90% of people think we're gonna pause or skip. Basically, 10% of people or more think that we're going to raise rates 25 basis points, which again, I just don't think is gonna happen. I think we're probably gonna pause or skip. But you know, today's inflation data is gonna be a big influence over whether they choose to do that. You know. Yeah, all good, Polaris. You need to copy them until December 6, 2024 to be eligible. It just depends on how short-term or long-term. I just signed a loan at a bank, and the loan lady was complaining about rates. She did not know about the CME watch tool. She needs to watch your channel, John. The more info, the better. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people... Like, what happens a lot with, like, professionals, right? And I've seen it a lot all the time, right? I've seen it a lot. What happens a lot with them is, like, usually what happens is that they're taking the word of these experts. Maybe they're getting, like, newsletters sent, and they're just kind of hanging on every word these experts say, right? But they're just kind of sitting around, like writing newsletters, and they're just listening to the newsletters. So they don't really understand the nuance. Like, I've known a lot of people in, like, mortgages and, like, banking, and, you know, they don't really know what's going on. You know, they don't really know what's going on. And they kind of, yeah, they don't really know what's going on. And they kind of, a lot of people hang on these expert newsletters, and they just kind of, they think that these are like, I don't know. I've just never been the type of person that wants to rely too much on experts. You know, I think, I think sometimes like people, I think you got certain types of people who want to look up to other people. You know, and I've met a lot of different people that like they really want to look up, like they idolize different people, right? Like they idolize different traders, they idolize like all these different groups. You know, when they learn day trading, they get a mentor, and then they idolize that mentor, and it just kind of sets them up to be manipulated, I think. You know, I've known a lot of people that are like, yeah, my mentor. It's like, bro, that mentor doesn't even know who you are. Like your mentor, you know, sells 1,000 people a course every month, bro. They don't know who you are, dude. Like they're not celebrities. Most of them are just kind of, you know, a fugazi. Forget about it, you know. But yeah, again, it is what it is, man. Again, I'm not the type of person that likes to follow anybody. I like to kind of make my own path and analyze it myself. I'm a skeptic in nature. I think you guys probably understand that. I'm pretty skeptical of everything. And I think that's good. You know, I think it's good to be a skeptic. Q is ripping up, though. Again, market's very hot right now. It looks good. I mean, not hot, but like the market bounced back, following the trend. Again, if we look at the Q all the way up to 370s, NVIDIA up to, what, 460s. Tesla everything basically bouncing back. Tesla looks pretty strong, man. It's pretty close to the highs of the year. Nvidia does as well. Nvidia is still maintaining these run-ups, still trying to hold here. So Nvidia looks good. You got to invest with a minimum of 10K. It depends on if it's short-term or long-term. Long-term, I have more faith, but ultimately you can do long-term stuff. Like when I say long-term or short-term, what I mean is what kind of trades are the copy traders taking? Like, are they day trading? Are they scalping? If that's the case, it's incredibly risky. Are they investing and doing a mix of swing trading and investing? That's less risky, but it really depends on what kind of trading they're getting done. But yeah, look at Nvidia, guys. Nvidia, the highs are actually like 525 or so. I can't remember exactly how high Nvidia went because extended hours isn't taken into account here on this chart. But Nvidia got up to I think it was like 520s, 530s. And, we're approaching that now. We're at 460s here. A little bit higher than that. The highs of yesterday were 462. And so we'll see if this inflation data will influence that in a good or bad way. What's up, JP? Yeah, we're green already as we walk into the day. I mean, again, my stock portfolio has been really nice lately on these gains. Here is my P&L today. We are up about 225. Baton Rouge, 225. We're up $225.53. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you would consider a rip, but I think this is definitely a rip. Look at that. Tesla up to 267s right now. We're in Tesla too, although small. We're in it nonetheless, and we are up, a good bit from our little trade. Another one that's been treating me right is HD, Home Depot. I might take a little piece of this off, just lock in some gains, but let's take some of this off here if we can. That should work. All right, so we'll just lock in 10 shares, We'll cut it down to 20 shares. All right, there we go. All right, so yeah, just took a little bit off Home Depot. As you guys can see, we're up on the remaining position here. SPY up to 436, looks good. Let's see if we can break 440s. Again, now remember, the high of the year is all the way up at 460s, but it's not that far away here, man. We're about $20 away from the high of the year. I don't know if this is the higher year or not, but 52-week high, that is. Again, watch Tesla too. Tesla, big moves. Again, the high of the last few days is like 268s, I believe, for Tesla here. Yeah, 268, 90s. And Tesla is rising right now ahead of this report. I don't know if people know something we don't, but plug power. Yeah, people get weird. Usually, yeah, for sure, Mar. I use quotes because people give me a hard time for saying rip. Yeah, I mean, most of the people that get mad are usually bearish traders who are mad that whatever it is pushing up, right? So if you're short and if you're shorting Tesla and somebody's like, hey, Tesla's ripping up, you might be like, nah, Tesla's not ripping up. That's not a rip. Like, you might be really bearish and just kind of mad. That's really what it is. That's what I run into a lot, where it's like people are like, yeah, the market's going to crash. And it's like, then the market doesn't and it pushes up. And I'm like, hey, the market's ripping up. It's not ripping. It's like, y'all be quiet. Like, go sit down. Misery loves company. Like, y'all sit down, Disney one more day. I'm in Disney too. I haven't even looked at Disney. I've already taken a lot of the profit off. But yeah, Disney's up. I mean, it's up to 85s, 86s. All right, so we took some HD off. Microsoft trade's going really well, but I don't want to take any off of Microsoft. One I am losing in is Coca-Cola. I guess those weight loss drugs are affecting it negatively. Target, we bought a dip in Target. We're still in the SPY too. Part of me thinks I should probably unload a little bit of this. I'm only in 10 shares left of the SPY, so we already scaled out of most of it. And I'm not really trying to. There we go. We took another little piece off. We'll hold the last little piece just in case. Yeah, I mean, Disney's been pushing up a lot, though, regardless of people mad at them or whatever. Disney's all the way back up to 85s, 86s, where a lot of people were saying, like, doom and gloom. And again, I bought it. You guys know me. I bought it down there. My average price on Disney currently, it's a small trade, but we've already taken profit a lot on it. My average price is 81s. And again, we've already taken profit off of it already a couple times. So we'll probably hold on to the rest, see if it runs up. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Honeywell, we're still in Honeywell. Google, man, Google been doing really nice as well for me. Gold, I'm still red in gold, but it's kind of a longer term trade. Disney, nice. Chewy, we're green in Chewy as well. Again, Amex, we're down. ARM, we're down. AMC, we're down. Apple, we're up. We're still in Apple. Waiting for $90 to scalp half and hold for 100 for the rest. Yeah, I mean, all good. Do whatever you got to do, What is BA? Boeing? Boeing. I don't really know Boeing like that. I try to invest in companies I know. Boeing's had a very large pullback, though, from 240s back in July all the way down to 180s. So the pullback's profound. I think that might be an argument for like a potential dip buy or something like that for Boeing. Just because if you look at the yearly chart, I mean, this is a pretty large pullback. And so just in terms of base extension, I think as long as the market holds, which is a big if, there might be an argument for a dip buy here. But again, I don't know for sure. What do you think about the inflation release today? I think it'll be important. Tomorrow is bigger. Again, crack that like button, guys. I'd love to break over 100 likes. $2 billion Powerball. I'm going to win the Powerball. And if I do win the Powerball, I'll give everybody in the stream $1,000 if I win the Powerball. So y'all better just hope I win, Do you think the US dollar, Japanese yen is topped from here? I'm not sure. It really depends. There's a lot of nuance behind it. I think this is the week that's going to influence markets, though, guys. So like this is a very big week, right? So here's Bitcoin. It's a big influential week. Bitcoin might be affected by bank earnings. So one thing to pay attention to, one of the nuances, is watch bank earnings and watch how they affect crypto. Because if bank earnings come in really weak, people might flood to crypto. That's what happened in the bank crisis earlier this year, is that bank weakness happened, regional banks failed, and people flooded the crypto market. Crypto popped up pretty big from it. So with bank earnings coming out on Friday, that's one of the nuances that you might want to pay attention to. If we look at gold here, gold futures, again, gold absolutely ripping up with everything else today. Gold up to 1880s. And so that looks pretty good. And again, we'll see if it holds, but gold popping up for sure. Yeah, that $1,000 is only if I win the 2 billion one, not the 50K one. I win the 50K one, nobody's getting anything. Nah. I didn't say I'd give all my subs $1,000, bro. Dude, I'm not giving all my subs $1,000. I didn't say that. I said I'd give everybody in the stream, which at the time was 232 people. All right, so that would be 232K out of 2 billion, which I know minus taxes is going to come out to about 900 million, I think. Right, and so if you win $2 billion in the lottery, again, number one, you always take the lump sum. You always take the lump sum, guys. If you can learn anything from my streams, you take the freaking lump sum. You know why? Is because they hope you're dumb enough to take the monthly payments. They hope you're dumb enough. You are saving them 75% plus of whatever they have to pay out. They are begging you to take the monthly payments, right? It's dumb to take the monthly payments. Why? Because you don't know how long you're going to live. You know, you could, something could happen to you tomorrow and they're going to be like, well, we paid you $4,000 this month. Woohoo. You know, it'd be more than that, but still. Again, you always take the lump sum. You know, the reason you take this lump sum is simple, and I've talked about this before. The reason you take the lump sum is because you take it and you stick it into bonds, right? You take it and you stick it into bonds, which is a guaranteed return. You're going to get 5% right now, roughly, a little bit under 5%, 4.5% yearly in bonds. And so you can take that money, stick it in the treasury bonds, and then earn 5% every year. Right. And so just to give you the math here, right? So say you make 900 million, which is what it would be after taxes if you won the 200 billion or the 2 billion lottery. You make about 900 mil. Right. Now you take that, you stick half of it. Right. 450 million. You stick 450 million into bonds. And just on bonds alone, right? Yearly, you're going to make about 20 million just on bonds alone. Yearly, you're gonna make about 20 million. And so yeah, like just to calculate that in a monthly perspective, just on your bond payments alone, you're gonna get paid about $1.7 million a month in interest for loaning the government. And then you're gonna get the money back at the end of that 10-year period or whatever it is, right? So this is because of this. This is why they hope you're dumb enough to take the monthly payments. Is because they're going to take your money and they're going to stick it in bonds and then they're going to pay you with their profit and then just keep everything, you know? So again, never take the monthly payments, always take the lump sum. Well, there's more sides to the argument, Yair. I understand completely. But again, I think you got to look at it in terms of what, like, take bad decision makers out of it and genuinely look at the logic of it. You know, like I always tell people, if I win 900 million, I'm taking half of it and I'm sticking it in bonds, the S&P 500, real estate, gold, and I'm just letting that sit. And I'm just living off of that interest, right? Half of it. Then I'm going to take the other half and I'll do whatever I want with it because I know regardless of any of that, right, even if I stuck it in only bonds, which is a lower return than the S&P will give you 10%, right? So to put that in perspective, you get 450 million and you stick it in the S&P, on average, over a long-term period, it should pay you $45 million a year, you know? And so I'm taking half of it and I'm investing it in bonds or whatever, and then I'll do whatever I want with the rest. But yeah. Long or short, I don't know. I'm going to wait for the data to come out today. We also have the FOMC minutes report, the Fed minutes report going live today as well. And so y'all be ready for that also. Yeah, so y'all be ready for that also. Hey, a cup of coffee's good, dude. You're still going to get taxed from your bond profits. Yeah, well, that's obvious. You know, what I'm saying is just the argument I'm trying to tell you guys is you never take the monthly payments. Again, the lottery hopes you're dumb enough to do it. In anything, it doesn't matter if you win 50K, 100K, you never take the monthly payments. It's not what you want to do. Again, SPY up to 436s. Again, AMC, guys. Look at AMC over 10 trying to hold. Let's see if, I mean, this is a pre-split price of $1. right now. $1 is what a pre-split price is because it did the 10-to-1 split. Yeah, CPI is tomorrow. PPI is today, though. The producer price index is today. So it's the other side of the... I'm not sure why they did this today and they did CPI tomorrow. Usually it's backwards. Usually it's CPI one day and then PPI the next. But for whatever reason, they did it backwards today. Again, I still don't know why. Yeah. All right, guys. Again, AMC up there. Here's the Q. Anything else moving today that I'm missing here? I know Pepsi had earnings yesterday with the weight loss problems going on. They're still up, but not up a lot. They did better than expected on EPS slightly, and then barely better than expected on revenue, but it was better than expected. And I think they upgraded their guidance too. Again, gold, been one of the stories today is gold is pushing up, pumping up heavily. Look at gold. Gold all the way up there at 1886, 1885. So gold has been pumping up this morning. Eli Lilly on a potential weight loss injection drug has been moving really nicely here. And so here's Eli Lilly. Again, they have a potential weight loss injection drug that would take weekly injections. And so they are up a lot on the year. They're up 100% basically on the year, a little bit less than that maybe. Again, SPY's still moving up here. I'm trying to see where the next big resistance level is on the SPY. Let's take a look at a longer term chart. I would say the next big resistance level, like genuinely big, is... I don't know. I think right where we are now is a big spot. I think 440, 437, 440. I think these two levels. I think this is the high of the last... this is the high of the last month or so. So about the last month's high is right around 437.50s. We also have 440 up here, which is just kind of a psychological level I think we can pay attention to. And so watch this level here. Look, it was also the high yesterday. So again, look at this level. Again, Walmart doing okay. Google, Microsoft, another big one to pay attention to. They're up to 330s. Yeah, like, right. If you take the monthly payments, they are going to take the money that you would have won and they're going to stick it in bonds, you know, and they're going to earn interest, and then they're just going to pay you the interest, you know, and so they're going to basically get to keep all of their money if you're dumb enough to accept the monthly payments. And again, bonds are not speculative. Bonds are guaranteed returns. Bonds are basically like treasury. Anytime you hear treasury bills, treasury bonds, treasury notes, it's all the same thing, right? What it really is it's a loan to the U.S. government. You are loaning money to the U.S. government. That's what a bond is, right? You are loaning. A bond just means you're loaning money in one way, and you're going to earn interest on that money, right? And so in this regard, treasury bonds are loaning money to the U.S. government. You know, so you loan them $100K, a 10-year, and you're going to make 4.5% in over a 10-year period, and they're going to pay you yearly, or they might pay you more than that. They might pay you twice a year. But so you loan the U.S. government. This is why I told somebody at my jiu-jitsu class, because he was like, "Hey, I've got." It was like either 50 or 100K. He was like, "Hey, I got this sitting around, but I don't trust the stock market," he said. And I said, "Okay, well, look, you can like, bonds are guaranteed returns, you know. So like, if you get 100K and you get a 10-year bond, and you're gonna earn 4.5% or whatever that is, like, just to give you guys the math, right? You're going to earn yearly $4,500 a year, right? And they're going to pay you that interest yearly. So they're going to pay you 4.5% a year, which is 4,500, 4.5K. They're going to pay you that yearly. And then at the end of that 10-year period, you're going to get your money back. They're going to give you that 100K back, right? And so what you're going to basically do is earn 45%, you're going to earn 45%. You're basically going to make almost 50K from 100K by loaning the US government that money over a 10-year period, right? But the thing to understand with this, though, guys, is like investing in the market, like the stock market, is going to give you better returns most of the time. So the investing your money in the stock market is going to give you basically twice that on average, like 10% yearly, right? So you got 100K, you're going to make 10K a year based off of that 100K, and that's not even including compounding. But and so in that regard, if you let your money sit in the S&P 500 for 10 years, you're probably going to double it. Like, you're probably going to take 100K and you're going to make, at the end of it, you're going to have 200K, right? Probably. The only problem with investing in the market, again, is it's not guaranteed, and volatility happens. Like, risk is certainly there. Like, risks are there. And again, the longer you sit on it, the more those risks go away. But short term, what I mean short term in terms of investing, I mean like under 5 years, there's risks. It's not like you're going to be able to invest money for 5 years and just make 50% and then ride off into the sunset. You might, but you might also get stuck in a market crash and have to wait longer to get your money back. And some people make even worse decisions where they get emotional and they sell during the market crashes. And those are the people who lose the most in the market, or people who get emotional and sell during the crashes, right? You gotta be able to you gotta condition yourself to be resilient in terms of emotions here, and you got to understand it's a long-term game. Yeah, PPI drops in 1 hour. There might be a timer on the screen. There might be a time on the title. There also might be a time at the very bottom of the screen also. There could be. I'm not saying there is. There might be, Yeah, beginner bonding. Did everyone chat buy the dip when the SPY was around 420 on Friday? It was an obvious buy level. Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about this level a lot too. I didn't mention 420, but I showed people this trend. And this trend held very, very strong, very obvious trend. And so we talked about this trend a lot. And we held the trend. Looks good. Yeah, the zero commission thing is big. I remember the days where on TOS, if I wanted to make a day trade, I had to pay $14 a round trip. So it doesn't matter how much I buy. I could buy one share of a stock, and it's going to cost me $14 a round trip on TOS, 5, 6 years ago. People are all like, oh, payment for order flow bad. Most of the time, they're just mad their stocks are going down. And so they're just looking to blame somebody because they're upset their stocks are going down. But in the end, I'd much rather it be like it is now than how it was before, Can we short right now this bubble, 1 minute time frame? I mean, what bubble? Explain the bubble. I mean, you could. I don't know if you should. Here's the Q. There's 436s. John, what fund would you choose to drop 10K in for 1 month? Not for advice. None of them. Like, what do you mean drop 10K in for a month? It's not that easy, bro. If you're gonna drop 10K in a fund, you can swing trade it, but it depends on what the technicals are, like what the extension looks like where the trend is. Just randomly dropping 10K in a fund in any particular month seems like a bad move. And so you got to wait for your entries. There's a very famous quote, and it goes something like, money is not made in trading, money is made in waiting. And it's very true. Right, you have to wait for the trades to come to you. Ten-year treasury near 4.5%. Yeah. Yeah, we're trading indexes, we're trading futures, we're trading stocks as well. Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying though, Yelton, is if you're gonna drop money in an index, in my opinion, you got to let it sit longer than that. A month is not a long enough time frame. Anything could happen in a month. The shorter term the time frame, the more volatile and risky the trade's going to be. The longer term the time frame, the easier it is going to be. The easier it is to make money on the long side if you're talking about blue chips or the index funds that everybody knows. Longer term, it's almost guaranteed money if you let it sit long enough, right? Short term, it's just coin flip, like especially a 1 month period of time. Anything could happen. We could get a bear month, we could get a bull month, and I think the edge in terms of betting on that type of stuff is very low. Like unless you're sitting around and you're waiting for the SPY to have a really profound pullback or something like that, like you're waiting for the market to just pull back really, really, really heavily, and then you're throwing your 10K in. That would be a little bit more understandable, and that's something that I would normally do in terms of like how I trade. I'm waiting for deep extension and pullbacks. And then if we get a deep enough one, then I'm okay with buying that dip. But I have to wait for it. I can't just kind of jump in wherever. If you're going to... Entry doesn't matter if you're holding long term, right? So if you're holding something for 5 years, where you buy it now is insignificant long term. Short term, though, where you enter is everything. And so if you're buying something for a month, you got to be very calculated and selective with your entry, because if not, it's just going to, it's going to wave you out. Hey, what's up, Rod? Yeah, Tesla looks great, man. Tesla's been pumping up too. Tesla all the way up to 266.40. So Tesla's been having a great time. I don't understand why the market is increasing when people are expecting higher PPI. How does this help trading and pushing the market? Because the market's not based off of one specific thing. Yes, here. Like the market's not based off of one thing. Number one, the market's going to go up long term. Like it's not a question. So if you find yourself betting against that upward action long term, again, you're making a sucker's bet, because the market's going to go up long term without question, right? No matter what anybody says about the US, no matter what any news story tells you, no matter anything else. And if it doesn't, like there's a chance that it doesn't, but it's very low probability. And if that happens, the least important thing in your mind is going to be what happens to your investments in the stock market, and so that's the look you have to have with it. Yeah, penny stocks. It's just not my game. Yeah, I think the market might be flat. Again, today we got the Fed minutes report. We've got PPI. Tomorrow we have CPI. Friday we have bank earnings. Tomorrow we also have jobless claims numbers coming out. So just a big gang of economic reports. So why is Polestar down? Because they're a really speculative EV penny stock. They're really speculative EV penny stock. Like, again, I always tell people like mid caps and penny stocks are incredibly risky. Why? Because they can drop 70% in a year. Like Polestar, they could drop huge percentages in a year. You can't invest in them like they're Apple, because they're not Apple. They're very new companies. Like this company only IPO'd last year in June. And so it's just too new of a company to really bet on its success heavily. You can take small bets. If you're going to bet on stuff like this, in my opinion, you should bet small bets that you're okay with losing. But if you do make money and it does like turn crazy and go up 10x or whatever, then you're going to turn a small amount of money into a large amount of money, instead of investing a large amount of money in this and it doesn't do what you want it to do, and then you turn a large amount of money into a small amount, right? Like I think if you're going to bet on stuff like this, it needs to be small calculated bets that you're okay with losing. And if it does turn out successful, even better. Again, SPY breaking highs again in pre-market up to 436.20s right now. 436.20 still moving up pretty heavily here. Is Exxon a good buy this morning? I don't know, man. Oil's been so volatile, and oil has been pulling back a lot. But it was up a lot prior to this. It had been on a big run up to 120 on Exxon prior to this. And so I'm in Exxon right now, actually. We're still green. Our average price is 106, but it's not really looking great. We're down to 108s, and so we'll probably cut it break even if it does, if we can't hold. Yeah. And yeah, PPI expected at 0.3% today, 0.3%. If you have a second, can you briefly explain the difference between real estate, owned, bank owned property? I mean, from my understanding, it's the same thing. But again, I'm not 100% sure, Chris. I'm pretty sure REO is real estate owned and bank owned auctions are the same thing. And so doing a simple Google search, if they foreclose a property and nobody buys that property, the bank retains ownership. If the bank is, a mortgage company, then it's going to be an REO, a real estate owned. It's going to be a bank owned property. Now, if that bank decides to do another auction, that's going to be a REO auction versus like a typical foreclosure auction. But again, I'm not 100% sure. I would research it more. All this green can do a 180 by 930. Oh, for sure. PPI is not really the big one you want to worry about. Not really. I mean, CPI is the big boy that you gotta be weary of. PPI it's big. It's not as big. Walgreens. Yeah, we're in Walgreens, man. We've been sitting on it for a while. Fairly certain that the dollar index is leading the markets for the moment. Evidence I've just witnessed it leading the ES and NASDAQ for the last 3 moves. So is it following the markets right now? Here's the Dixie. I mean, what I see right now in the Dixie is very flat action. Like the Dixie is very flat, probably ahead of the producer price index, which is the big report, right? But regardless of what the market's doing, this is very choppy. Like, look at this. Like it's straddling the previous closing price right here. So it's basically straddling the previous closing price. Now, when you look at that relative to like the SPY, which is up big, or the NASDAQ, which is up big, or Tesla or gold that is up big, the Dixie looks pretty choppy right now. I don't know if there's any correlation with the markets. It's certainly not like running up huge amounts. It's basically been straddling this red to green level. This previous closing price right here is the red to green level. It's the level at which stocks go from red to green on the day. So if it's over it, it's green. If it's under it, it's red. The dollar index has been basically straddling that. For PPI, are you showing us the trades you will be taking? I'll probably wait until after PPI. I don't think trading during PPI, ahead of PPI, is a good move. I mean, we're in a bunch of investments and swing trades, but yeah, I mean, in terms of that, like, it's kind of a coin flip in nature in terms of making money on this type of stuff ahead of it. And so I usually try to just limit my size ahead of these reports. CPI is expected. I believe it's similar to PPI. And so again, CPI, I'm pretty sure is pretty similar to PPI. CPI is expected at 0.3%, the same as PPI. So they're both expected at 0.3%. Now, core CPI is expected at 0.3% as well. On the year, CPI is expected at 3.6%. And if we look at the yearly PPI expectation, it is expected at 0.3% for month, and yearly it's expected at 1.6%. So remember, core excludes food and energy. So core excludes food and energy. We also have some Fed members speaking today. A lot of different Fed members speaking. 30-year mortgage rate came out again today. It came in high, 7.67%, higher than last time, 7.53% last time. John, I'm looking at 1-minute charts and only referring to small moves. Oh, I know. I feel you. I mean, I'm looking at 1-minute charts as well. What I'm saying, though, is like relative to what the Dixie usually does, the movement that I'm seeing today on a short-term perspective looks pretty flat, you know, and looking at that relative to like the SPY or something like that, which is really moving up, I think this looks very flat for the Dixie. And I think if you look at other, look at yesterday, for instance, yesterday morning, look at how much the Dixie was moving up and down relative to what it's doing today. You know, same thing previous days. So again, what I'm showing right now on the dollar index, like here's the Dixie the last few days. You can see it's just much more volatile than today, which is a very, you know, rectangular like movement here. It's very sideways and flat, and it's kind of, again, it's kind of straddling the previous closing price right here. So yeah, I just don't think the Dixie's really doing much today, and I think it's probably because we got inflation reports coming out. Yeah, most of the time the Dixie moves inversely to the market, but not always. It's a little bit, it varies, but most of the time there's an inverse correlation. What's your take on commodities? Which ones? Is it normal for the Dixie to be flat like this? On big economic reports, especially inflation data, yes. Like ahead of inflation reports, a lot of things are flat because the market's apprehensive. They don't want to take big size ahead of it, and so they wait. Was that Big Lots? Yeah, I think Big Lots is going to go out of business. You know, it doesn't look like it's a discount, you know. And I never understood why people, no offense to anybody, but like why take, like who would ever want to invest in this? You know, like outside of like a squeeze, right? Like a short squeeze, right? Like outside of a short squeeze, Big Lots business model is not going to sustain long term. Like it's going to fail. Like I don't think it's really arguable. I think it's going to fail for the same reason a lot of brick and mortar stores are going to fail. Number one, Big Lots just doesn't have anything unique about it that you can't get on Amazon now. And with mail order goods becoming such a more common thing now, people don't need to go to Big Lots to buy this stuff. They can order it and get it next day on Amazon. And so over time, business models like Big Lots are going to fail, and that's the reason it's going down long term. And so I would, if a healthy company dipped this much, I would call it a discount. If Big Lots dips like this, I don't think it's a discount. I think it's because obsolescence is what it is. I think it's becoming obsolete relative to the other, you know, ways of getting the same type of goods now, you know. And so just be careful with it is all I'm saying. Again, discounts are fine. This just seems risky. Now to be fair, now to give you the other side of that, Big Lots is very cheap. It's at $4, $5 a share. And it's down a lot. You know, it was at 21 earlier, less than a year ago. It was at 21 a share, right around 21. So it's down a lot. And there is a chance that it bounces back. But I think if you're betting on the company overall, it's risky. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to Big Lots. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go out of business too. All right, guys. Hey, we got 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Again, do me a favor, bump that like button up. Have we breaking 100 likes? We're at 95 likes, guys. Do it now. Hit the like button. You know you want to. Try it one time. Might feel good. Do it now. Looking at our poll numbers here. Again, 45% saying it's going to come in high. So most people say it's going to come in high. All right, guys, PPI. All right, guys. Again, will we come in higher or lower? And 0.3% month over month. right, guys, slap that like button, team. We appreciate it. Let's keep the growth up. Again, we're gonna post this on Twitter. I'm gonna do a poll here again. Slap the votes. Let's do 2 hours. There we go. Again, you want to vote on this poll? Here is the link. Vote on our Twitter poll. We appreciate it. It's higher PPI mean market will go down. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. And again, PPI is a little bit more nuanced of a report in which we don't really know exactly how the market's going to respond to PPI, because CPI gives you a pretty obvious reaction. PPI is different. Like, a lot of the time, PPI is just different. And again, vote on the poll. There's the chat right there. Vote on the poll if you haven't already. Who won out of the Orioles and Rangers? Rangers did, man. All right, so the Orioles are basically out. It's a 5-game series, so the Orioles are out. Man, Adley Rutschman. I like Adley too, man. I think he's great. But Rangers are just good this year. Not even with DeGrom, too. They don't even have DeGrom. DeGrom's still hurt, right? I haven't been watching Rangers games. All right, team. Again, stick around. We cover this data quick. And so we cover this data quickly. That's why we get so many people here. We'll have over 1,000 people here live once this data report happens. And so it's a big week. We got CPI tomorrow. I don't know if shin splints or if my knee is messed up. It doesn't feel like my knee. It feels like shin splints, but I'm not 100% sure. I heard PPI is a good way to see how CPI will be. How true do you think that is? Well, I mean, most of the time CPI drops before PPI. And so I don't think most of the time we're going to get a report like this in which you're going to be able to read it. I think most of the time, you're going to get CPI data first, and then you're going to get PPI data the next day. And again, so today we have CPI, tomorrow we have PPI, today we got Fed minutes, today we've got bank earnings Friday, jobless claims Thursday. Next week we got Tesla earnings. All right, guys, look at on Twitter. 44% of people think it's going to come in higher. So it looks like most people think it's going to come in higher than expected here. Sell gold. Yeah, I really don't know. Hey, what's up, Shepard? Palantir? Yeah, earnings will be fun, for sure. Earnings will be interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to be patient and wait. Again, slap that like button, guys. We got over 122 likes, so I appreciate it. All right, guys, SPY up to 436 is here. Again, PPI report is live soon. Be ready. Looking at our YouTube polls here, we got a little bit different votes. Again, 44% think we're going to come in high, 16% think low, 25% think as expected, 15% say I don't know. Again, I hope we come in low. Low typically is better, higher is worse. And generally, this is inflation reports, right? So with that, like inflation data is we're gonna want low. You know, so we're gonna want lower than expected most of the time, but it's never a for sure thing. And again, this can be really unpredictable, for lack of a better word. Catching back up in the chat. Hey, John, what do you think about Volk versus Makhachev now? I think that's a better fight, to be honest. Although I do like Charles Oliveira, man. And I think Oliveira has looked really sharp the last, 2 years, man, 3 years. He was always really good at jiu-jitsu, but his striking has gotten way, way, way better. Way, way, way better. And so I think his striking has improved drastically. And so I really thought that Oliveira would give Makhachev, it would be a good fight. But I'm just as excited for Volkanovski versus Makhachev. I think Volk is one of the GOATs, and Makhachev is very good. He hasn't been doing it long enough to be a GOAT yet, but he's very good. And yeah, I think it'll be a good fight. I'm watching, Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I wanted to see Oliveira. I thought Oliveira might be able to take it, but but I'm okay with Volk stepping in. All right, guys, SPY right at this 436 level. Let me pull up some charts here. I'm going to get ready to trade today, too. Yeah, we got our login for a second funded account on Top Step, so you never know how the market moves are going to react to the numbers. Yeah, for sure. We don't, again, PPI especially. CPI gives you a little bit more predictable of a response, right? PPI is always a little bit weird in terms of reactions. I've seen a lot of the time where PPI comes in much higher than expected and the market rips up, or PPI comes in much lower than expected and the market rips up or rips down, which is usually contrary to how it normally is with inflation reports, right? Inflation reports, higher is usually bad and lower is usually good. But PPI specifically is a little bit different, to be honest. We don't always get a clean reaction from it, I guess is the point. Maybe because less people watch it, CPI is the bigger one, but for whatever reason, that's just kind of how it goes. The percentage was lowered, I believe, on PPI. Might be wrong, but I heard through the grapevine. What percentage? All right, guys. Yeah, we got about 500 people here, a little bit less than 500 people here. We still got about 40 minutes left until PPI comes out, team. Dude, I don't know if my knee is torqued or what, dude. Something's up with this knee. See, it felt like this. I think it's just shin splints, but I'm not 100% sure. I hope it's just shin splints. When I step on it, it doesn't hurt in my knee. It hurts in my shin. And so it's got to be just shin splints, right? I get nervous about jiu-jitsu because, I don't want to mess my knees up. I was a skateboarder when I was young, and so my knees are pretty solid, but still. So Robert Kennedy Jr. stepping down from his current party to run as an independent candidate. All right, team. If he wants to win, I don't think it's a good move. 70% Americans think wealth is about more so enjoying experiences than about owning nice things. And I would say that's true, man. you know, again, nice things don't really like change your life that much, bro. They really don't. Like I've lived on both sides. Like I've lived very slim, for lack of a better word, and I've lived very well. And it doesn't really change that much, you know. You know, and even money, like money doesn't change too much. Like money, when I first started this YouTube channel, right? At first I said, hey, if I could just make $1,000 a month from this YouTube channel, I'm living my dream, right? And so then I hit $1,000 a month, right? And then I said, okay, well, if I could live $4,000 and make 4K a month, I'm living my dream, right? And then you hit that, right? And then that scales to 10 and then more over that. And so over time, you become numb to it. You know, it doesn't really improve your life much more. And, you know, to be honest, there's just a lot of stresses that come from it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm going to win the Powerball, you know, and I'm sure that'll make me happy, but, you know, we'll see. All right, guys, SPY consolidating here. We got over 30 minutes left still until PPI report comes out. Honestly, I want a motorcycle, but Carol's too, like, against it. Like, I might get one anyway, but she thinks they're too dangerous. But they just look fun, man. All right. Do it. Yeah. I agree with Carol. Yeah. Make sure you win it 10 times in a row, though. Hey, top 3 times in a row at least. Yeah, we got a half an hour until PPI inflation report comes out. We got a half an hour. Thoughts on the Rangers winning the World Series? Honestly, I'd be happy with it. I'd be happy with the Rangers. I'm a big DeGrom fan. I know he's hurt right now, but I like Jacob DeGrom. I think he's the GOAT pitcher. Yeah, I mean, I used to ride dirt bikes a lot, and I remember I used to have like a 1978 GT80 mini bike. I used to ride around my neighborhood as a kid. We'd fix it up and ride it. Might be your back. No, I'm pretty sure it's my shins, man. It feels like my shins. Like I can put pressure on my knee, but it's my shins, but it's right below my knee. So I'm pretty sure it's my shins. I'm hoping it's my shins and not my knee. I'll give it a day. I like this beat. Yeah. Thank you. I've hit a deer at 65 on a motorcycle. Yeah, I hit a deer in Louisiana. So this was New Year's Eve. All right, guys, we got 30 minutes exactly, a little bit under 30 minutes, about 29 minutes exactly. You can see the SPY starting to dip under the 436 level. So the SPY is starting to fall down. We're at 435s, 436s. The dollar index is starting to move back up a little bit here. We have Tesla, again, been on the rise this morning, all the way back up to 267s, all the way up to 267s. It's just old age, it might be. Will arm break 60? I don't know. I'm in arm right now. I'm still holding arm. I mean, I'm down on it. And we already, I think I'm probably kind of green on the trade overall, but it's close, right? Like my average price is 63. It's at 56. But I also took at least half of the position off initially after the IPO because I bought it and then ran it up. And then it ran up to something else. Ran up to 69. So I'm pretty sure I scaled out of part of it already. So I'm pretty sure I'm close to flat here at least. No, I'm not really much of like a dirt. Like if I'm gonna get a dirt vehicle, it's gonna be like either an ATV or a dirt bike. You know, I like the buggies. The buggies are cool, but I just don't feel like I would have enough use for it to justify spending 12K on it. You know, it's not like I could afford it, but like I just don't think I would use it enough to really make it worthwhile. You know, like I feel like I would buy it and then I wouldn't have enough use for it. You know, it's not like if I had some land, maybe, but you know, I live in the suburbs, so. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Beach? Yeah, we hit a deer. We hit a deer. This was like New Year's Eve. It's actually a funny story. So like I was with my friends on New Year's Eve, right? And like I can't remember what we were doing. I think we were going to like some girl's house, and on the way home, I argued about shotgun. I called shotgun, and like we argued about it, but I ended up getting shotgun. And then on the way home, and this is at like New Year's Eve. It might have been New Year's. It was past midnight, almost certainly. So it was late. We're on the highway in Louisiana, and we're in like a Chevy truck. And so we're driving down the highway, and like a deer just runs out, and we just whack that deer. You know, that deer was, you know, over with. And it completely totals the truck, right? The airbag deploys and just pops me in my face. Like I just get whacked in the face by the airbag. My friends were making fun of me for the rest of the night because my front lip was so swollen. Like my face was so swollen from getting hit by the airbag. And it's like, I called shotgun. I couldn't really get mad about it. I fought for that position. And yeah. I mean, this was like, I was doing some dumb stuff back then. But I can still remember it. It's over 30? Oh yeah, I'm definitely not buying one. Can anyone suggest me a trading broker in the US that allows indexes trading on Meta4? No, I'm not sure there. Again, Tesla still sitting right at the volume weighted average price. So sitting right at the VWAP here. All right, guys. PPI inflation data, 8:30. We got 24 minutes here, team. 24 minutes. All right, guys. PPI inflation data. Ready? Yeah, let me know what's your number? Listen in chat. What's your number? Do you think we come in at 0.3%, which is what the expected number is, 0.3%? Do you think we have higher reading, lower reading? We can look at our poll numbers here. And so 45% think high, 15% think low, 26% think as expected, 15% honest folks say I don't know. We also got the poll on Twitter as well. This poll shows 50% saying higher, so pretty similar, honestly. It looks like at least half of the votes think that PPI is going to come in higher than expected here, which is typically showing higher prices, worse prices. A third of people think we're going to come in lower than expected. I personally, I don't know if it's just confirmation bias on my end. Personally, I would love for us to have lower than expected inflation reports. Yeah, I hope this is just shin splints, man. I hope my knees aren't forked. All right, guys. Inflation report coming out. We got over 20 minutes left still. SPY starting to bounce back up a little bit. I mean, it doesn't really matter past pet. I mean, higher is usually worse. Yeah, for sure. FOMC minutes reports coming out. We're going to cover that too, for sure. We'll be streaming that live. Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I try to find different passions so I can build businesses around them. One of my latest ones is jujitsu. Like, I've been training jujitsu now for months, and it's been really fun, man. It's very addicting. But I'm trying to think of, like, aside from opening up a gym, which I don't really want to do, what are some business ideas related to jujitsu? Is what I'm wondering. Like, what are some ideas aside from starting a media channel? And I don't think the niche is big enough to do like a podcast. I just don't think it's going to be worthwhile to do like a jiu-jitsu podcast. But I think when you're doing business, you have to do it in stuff that you're actually interested in, because that's the only way you're ever going to motivate yourself to actually get the work done for it. If you're truly interested in something, you'll get the work done. If you're not really interested in something and it's just kind of half, then it's going to be difficult to motivate. And so I always try to do businesses around stuff I'm actually interested in, so I'll have the motivation to actually finish it. Which is not everyone. NQ bull flag right now. I'm in Tesla right now. I'm holding Tesla long right now. Here's the NQ. Again, the Nasdaq got to 1530s. Again, very strong morning for everything. It's been a really strong couple days. We told people about this trend though. So we drew this trend a long time ago. We told people about the trend. Every major dip in market, you always got people crying stock market crash, right? Like every major dip, like, oh, the market's going to crash. The market's going to dip. It's imminent. Like the world's going to end. And it never does. Again, I told people this before, but we bounced exactly where I told you guys we probably would. We been moving up, we moved down, now we're moving back up again. Now it doesn't mean we're going to continue. I mean, there's a chance we dip, but so far the market's still very strong, and this is heading into today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow's inflation reports, right? Again, PPI, the producer price index today, CPI, the consumer price index, which is the more relevant, more watched, and ultimately the more influential inflation report is CPI, which is tomorrow. But PPI is a big one. Again, we'll have well over 1,000 people here when this drops. And so it's a big report. It's a big report. Gi company, yeah. Jiu-Jitsu cupcakes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the problem with business ideas is that they need to be, like, a lot of people start businesses and stuff that is not big enough to start businesses in, right? Like, I could start a very obscure company, but I need something that's scalable, right? And that's a big mistake people make when they start businesses, is that they don't start them, like, just as an example, they start a cupcake store. They start a cupcake store in a very low traffic area, right? So of course, like, not really super scalable. You're not really going to get enough business. You're going to be drowning in fees and rent. And so that's just an example. Jiu-jitsu is kind of a small niche, right? And so it would need to be something like highly marketable. The gi company makes sense, but I don't know. Again, they are kind of a dime a dozen at this point in time. So higher PPI is bearish for the market. Did I get that right? Typically, yes, but it's not always the same. Apple chopping. Yeah, a lot of stuff's choppy right now. Again, if you look at the dollar index is pretty flat. Yeah, I'm nowhere near as good to do instructional videos, so I would have to outsource that. And I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but yeah. All right, guys. Again, SPY testing right at the volume weighted average price. Dollar index still pretty flat. It's holding the 200 EMA, but it's just not really moving that much today. It's pretty neutral. It's slightly over the Dixie, slightly green on the day, which is weird because I mean usually these are inverse. So like usually the SPY moving up like this is going to make the dollar index go down like that. But it's not always that, you know, so it's not always like the SPY moves up, the Dixie moves down, and vice versa. It's not always having that negative correlation. Sometimes they move with each other. Sometimes they just are not influenced by each other at all. Kind of like gold, right? Gold a lot of the time moves with the market, but not always. And sometimes it just does a completely different thing. But yeah, the dollar index is one to watch. We'll keep this up as well. Partner with Steven Seagal. Harris, I think you might be really behind on the stream. You want to hit the live button. Partner with Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal, man, listen. I love his old movies, right? But the problem is people idolize him, and he learned Aikido, which is a nonsense martial art. It doesn't do anything. It's the pyramid scheme of martial arts, right? It's nonsense. Like Aikido is literally nothing. It doesn't do anything. It's just a faux martial art. Like it doesn't actually. It's basically like the kung fu, fake touches and all that stuff. Like it's just nonsense. Aikido is 100% that. It's like a dance art, you know. So like black belts at Aikido are going to get owned by anybody that understands grappling. Judo's different. Jiu-jitsu obviously legit. Aikido's nonsense. And so Steven Seagal being a master at Aikido, you know, Aikido's nonsense. And the problem with Aikido is that people spend so much of their time learning it, right? Like if you spend 4 years learning something, confirmation bias, like you're going to say, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. If somebody like me comes along and they're like, hey, it's nonsense, that might be a hard thing for you to accept. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like the equivalent of somebody spending $4,000 on a trading course, right? You spend $4K on a trading course, bro, that's the best course I ever took, you know, greatest course ever, you know. It might say one sentence, buy the dip, you know, greatest course ever. And so confirmation bias is a strong thing. And I think that's what you see a lot with Aikido, where it's like people spend a lot of time learning it. And so they hope it's useful, but it's just not. Yeah, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Did we pump last PPI? I don't know. I have to look at when the last PPI report was. I'm not sure. Somebody give me the date of the last PPI report. I'll look to see if we moved up or not on that day. I'm trying to remember what we showed up as, though. Like, I don't know if we came in higher or lower than expected for that. You know, I'm not sure. All right, guys, we still got about 15 minutes left. Last PPI, I think, was lower. Yeah, didn't the market move down from it? All right, guys, we're watching ARM as well. It was higher, I'm pretty sure. You have to go check. I'm not sure. Respectfully disagree. Long-term Aikido. Again, they've done so many tests where they put really high-level Aikido guys versus high-level Jiu-Jitsu guys or high-level whatever, and the Aikido guys get beat every time, dude. It's just, again, it's Steven Seagal is the most well-known Aikido guy, and that's just because he's not athletic at all, you know. And so if you're really not athletic, I'm sure he likes Aikido, but it's just a nonsense martial art. You know why? Because wrist locks, bro. People can bend my wrist all these type of ways. If I have any strength in my hand at all, I can push them away fairly easily. You know, like people act like a wrist lock is a lock of death, and it's just not. Like it's. I'm not saying you can't use them, but yeah, I think it's nonsense. Hey, what's up, Brandon? Yeah, I'm doing good, dude. Hope you're doing well, bro. I'm scared of a fake out market drops for an hour or two, hits some resistance, and then goes waiting for direction. Yeah, and a lot of the time these reports can have some lag behind them. So a lot of the times we can have like some lag behind these reports. We can have a really good report or a really bad report, and then the market goes one specific direction for like 10, 20, 30 minutes an hour, and then just completely reverses and goes the other way. I see that a lot with these as well. It's one of the reasons like I try not to make any bold predictions out of these reports. Again, what's your percentage? I guess I can, again, these aren't bold predictions. These are just going to be kind of guesses here. This is purely a guess on my end. What's your percentage guess here? Mine is going to be, I'm guessing PPI is going to come in at 0.4%. 0.4% for PPI. So put your percentages up in chat. What you guys think PPI is going to show up as? Again, I'm going to go with 0.4%. Sir, if you think Steven Seagal genuinely and truly beat Anderson Silva at anything, you know, I mean, yeah, there's no arguing with that. I mean, listen, Anderson's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Anderson might look up to Steven, and so he might, I think they did that for marketing purposes. I'm pretty sure Steven Seagal paid Anderson some money. But, you know, it's all good. Believe what you want to believe. All right, so 0.4%, 0.45%, 0.5% is 0.4 bad for the market. It's higher than expected. 0.45, 0.3, 0.4. No, 0.4 is bearish, I would say. Hey, bud, used to watch you. What's up, Ali? When I was living in Stockholm, greetings now from Geneva. Hey, what's up, Ali K? Hope you're doing well. That happened the other day with non-farm payrolls. I capitalized on it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, we can get some big volatility here. We got over 10 minutes left until this report drops. 0.4%, I said it first. I don't know. I don't care what percentage we're going higher, maybe. Yeah, I mean, all MMA fighters, though, they push a little bit too long. They want that last win, and Dana never really gives them an easy fight for the last fight. You know, I think Anderson's last fight was what, Adesanya? Which is not an easy fight at all. And Anderson honestly held his own against Israel. I hope we have higher than expected for my US Canadian long. We buying, dog? Can you chart the PPI? Is that possible? I mean, it depends on what you mean. What do you mean chart? All right, hey guys, we got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're caught up. No, MMA is a bunch of different martial arts mixed together. Of course, it's superior because it's everything. A lot of tech stocks in an upward wedge since October 4th. Yeah, a lot of big green action here. Again, if we look at a long-term chart, number one, first thing you'll see on the SPY is that we're in this long-term trend, and this trend has been confirmed multiple times. We drew this trend before this bounce, and again, followed this trend to a T. Again, the big resistance is above us. We drew these out. One of them, I think, is 440. One of them is way up here at 440. The other one is right around yesterday's high at 437s or so. We'll call it 437.25, but that is a pretty big level. You could just call it 437. But that's a pretty big level. That's yesterday's high, and I think that's a very relevant level to pay attention to. So again, 437, right around yesterday's high. Very big, important level to pay attention to, I think. I mean, you could chart it, but I don't know if there is a chart. There might be on the site. And so, yeah, here's some of the charts based off of the producer price website. So here's some of the charts. So September 14th, PPI final demand advanced 0.7% in August. Goods rose 2%. Services increased 0.2%. Again, commodities 2%. Services or goods 2%. Services 0.2%. I'm sure there's a chart somewhere. But again, expectations for today are 0.3%. Last time it came in at 0.7%. So they are expecting it to go down relative to last time. I mean, not down. I should clarify. They're expecting it to slow. Because a 0.7% increase in August for producer prices, now they're only expecting a 0.3%, right? So they're expecting less than half of what we showed in terms of increases in August. But it means slowing, not decreasing. You know, prices go up over time, though. That's why people invest, is because prices are going to go up long term, because dollars devalued long term. But slowing is good for inflation. And so if we come in at 0.4%, it's still going to be noticeably less than last time, as well as, you know, better than, you know, we've seen a lot throughout the last year or two. So, all right, guys, we got a little bit over 7 minutes left. I mean, gold will react. The dollar index will react. Yields might react. The S&P 500 is going to be closed. Bitcoin might react some. Enigma, but I think they're all going to be simultaneous. Like, I think they're all going to react pretty similar in terms of time. Where are the doomsdayers? Usually full of them here in the morning. Well, I'm sure they're pretty mad because we got this big bounce back. But again, anything could happen here. You know, we could get good action, bad action, green action, red action. Nobody knows. All right, guys, SPY still moving up. We're at 436 this here, guys. 436 on the SPY. Again, the Dixie down to 105. So the Dixie going down, SPY moving up. Dollar index still slightly green on the day. SPY very green over the last few days. Again, if you look at a 10-day chart, we've had a nice little pump the last couple days for sure. Nice little pump the last few days. 420 was a big level. We could look at like 425s as well. But I think the big levels to watch again above us are 437.25, right around the high of yesterday. I think that's a very relevant level in the S&P or the SPY. You know, I'll have to look at what that price is on the E-mini. So on the E-mini, okay, let's take a look. On the E-mini, that price is going to be, the price is going to be right here on the E-mini at about 44.19, 44.20 is going to be the equivalent price on the E-mini. On the S&P 500, which is a little bit different, that price is going to be, again, about 43.85s on the S&P. So that's yesterday's high, very relevant milestone level, I think. I think a lot of traders are going to be specifically watching that to see if we can hold. $20K should be the Bitcoin low to the moon next. I thought SPY returns 15% every year. Why is it going down? If you thought the SPY gives you 15% every year, then you don't understand the market, sir. No offense to you. But again, the SPY might give you roughly 10% on average every year, right? But that, or not every year, on average each year. Right. So what that means is, like, on average, if you add up all the good years and bad years, the S&P 500 is going to give you roughly 10% each year on average. Right. Certainly not every year. Every year is way different than on average. On average means that we might have crashes, dips, pullbacks in between. We might have good years and bad years. But when you add them up and divide them, the average of that is going to be 10%. Every year, if it was every year, that, you know, everybody would be rich because it would be guaranteed money. Now, maybe you might have just said it wrong, and it's all good if you did, but yeah. We got about 1,000 people here, team, about 1K. quick guess, minus 0.1% month over month. Again, give me your predictions. Let me know what you guys think. We got PPI data coming out very soon. Expectations are 0.3%. Core PPI month over month expected at 0.2%. Let's be ready. We got 3 minutes. Oh yeah, that $1,000 promise is only to the 230 people that were here. Your opinion about gold? Man, I really don't know about gold, dude. Gold's up a lot today. Gold looks strong. But gold's also down over the last couple of months. If you look at like a 180-day chart, gold's down over the last 6 months or so. It was pushing up towards highs back like when the banks were struggling. So if you think about the correlation there, when banks are struggling, gold does well. And so bank earnings on Friday will be very relevant to gold. But yeah, right now gold's up a lot today with the rest of the market here. But again, we got 2 minutes, guys, 2 minutes. Again, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button to fully catch what's going on. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. And here goes the release right now. We got less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. All right, guys, less than 2 minutes. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up. We got about 1,200 people here. And so slap the like button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Again, here we go. We're gonna get rid of this timer. Again, make sure your live button looks like this, guys. I can't specify enough how important it is for your live button to look like this to make sure you get the data quickly. So again, you want to make sure your live button again looks like this. You want to make sure it's red. It has a red dot around it. That means you're live. If not, click the live button. It'll catch you back up. We got about a minute and 15 seconds, minute and 10 seconds left. Yeah, all good, Ava. Yeah, you can use 2x speed. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If you weren't here to catch it, it's not about you, bro. The $1,000 promise is that if I win the $2 billion lottery, I'll give everybody that was in the stream at that point $1,000 if I win the $2 billion lottery. Which, I mean, again, we'll see. Not just if I win the Powerball, it's the $2 billion one. Anyways, hey, 20 seconds, guys, 20 seconds. Here we go. Big report. Again, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you catch up. We are here. Again, SPY up to 436s. Here we go. Here's the report. 10 seconds, guys. All right, here's the report. All right, building permits for Canada dropped. I don't see PPI yet. SPY down. SPY down. Dollar up. SPY down. Dollar up. PPI came in at 0.5%. 0.5% for PPI. PPI came in at 0.5%, higher than expected at 0.5% for the producer price index. 0.5% versus 0.3% expected. It's still lower than last time. Again, last time we came in at 0.7. This time we showed at 0.5. I thought we might be a little bit higher than expected. That's why I bet 0.4. But again, higher than expected for PPI. It doesn't mean anything regarding CPI, but higher than expected here for producer prices. Again, 0.5% is what we showed up. 0.5%. Core PPI showed up at 0.3%, so slightly higher than expected. Market has slightly reacted negatively here, but it's retracing a little bit. So a slight negative reaction. You can see the Dixies pushing up, of course, because higher prices is better for them, obviously. And so again, so far, PPI come in higher than expected at 0.5%. 0.5%. We're also going to throw it in sub-only mode, and we do have other stuff coming out today. So again, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We will cover everything as soon as it drops. And we're going to start trading potentially here. Let's trade if we can. All right, big rebound here, which is good. I've told you guys before, PPI is a little weird, dude. It's just a little weird relative to how it normally moves. Like, PPI is strange. You know, PPI is strange. So, like, PPI does the opposite of what you might think it will do. So, PPI can be weird here, team. Starting to bounce back a little bit as well. SPY at 435s. I'm probably short biased here because, I mean, usually we're going to have some correlation with the data report. But the market's up so much already, and really it's not down that much relative to what it could have been, in all honesty here. So it could be worse, I guess, is the point. Again, we're going to get ready to start trading some here. The market hasn't really reacted super negatively to this. Not as bad as it could be. All right. Again, I guess I'm going to short the market up here. All right, so we took one contract short. We might add a little bit to it. All right, there's two contracts. Try to take some trades here. We are shorting the S&P 500 right now. All right, there we go. Slightly green. Slightly green. So we get a flush. There we go. Take half off, just lock in some profit, protect the trade. We got a little bit more. We might add to this now. All right, nice little breakdown here. Yeah, so again, if you haven't already seen, the data releases right here, PPI 0.5%. And again, if you want to day trade like me, this is on a funded account program called Top Step. I've been funded in 3 different accounts over the last couple months, 3 different accounts. And Top Step is the most legit futures funded program in the world. It's starting to go against me a little bit here. And this is trading futures. So I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ currencies, gold, silver, and futures. Patterns are very similar to large cap stocks, but there's no PDT rule. So I can get around the PDT rule, day trade. You can see I can buy market, buy bid, sell the ask, just like stocks, but there's no PDT rule. And so again, if you want to check them out, what they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill. If you can hit the target while following the rules, they fund you between 50K to 150K with a 90% split. It's very cheap. It's $49. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. You still learn how to trade under pressure. You still learn how to trade. And it teaches you how to trade really well, just taking the challenge. And most traders are going to lose because most day traders lose money. But it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step. And if you're good enough to pass it, you get a very similar reward of putting the money up yourself. You get 90% split once you're funded, and you get to keep your first 10K in profit. And so in that regard, it's incredibly useful to get around the PDT rule. Most pro traders trade futures instead of most pro day traders trade futures. And so again, if you want to check it out, they are a sponsor of mine. This is the first plug we've done all day. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm incredibly biased in their favor, and I'm always honest with people. But it's incredibly useful for traders because it allows you to get around the PDT rule and learn day trading. And so if you want to check it out, here is the link. Again, great way to help support your boy here. We are getting a breakdown right now. We're staying patient in this. We already took some profit. We're up 75% on the last contract here. And I'll go ahead and cut that there and just lock it in. And maybe we'll short a little bit more on a pop. So just to show you what we're up so far on the day here with this trade. It looks like we got out in time too, because now we're starting to bounce back. Very volatile price action though. Yeah, I'm wondering how much I was up today. I gotta be up more than this, right? It says I'm up $35. I think all right, so look at us bounce back more here. So again, I told you guys this is weird. This is why PPI is weird. This is why PPI is strange, is because it'll do the opposite of what you might think it will. Like a lot of people are like, oh, short, data came in high. Yeah, I mean, roll. You know, again, you're another bearish trader that seems to think every major economic report we're going to get a market crash. And then you're also kind of shaming people for not doing different things. And so again, I'm not saying you're emotional, but you might be. You know, the market's starting to bounce back a little bit. Hey, dollar index is falling down some. Yeah, never listen to the noise. I'm trading futures, Sydney. I mean, one of our accounts were eligible for funding. SPY's still ripping up. And so we have like two funded accounts currently, live funded accounts. And one of them we're eligible for funding. We're trying to build up much more profit. I'm not trying to take a withdrawal just to look cool, because I think what happens, like a lot of like other influencers, they're just buying, reset and over and over again, trying to take a withdrawal so they look profitable. But really, you know, if you look at their active accounts, like most of them started to become active in like October, you know, and so they're like basically they lost their funded accounts. I'd like to build up a decent cushion in mine to where I can actually like, I mean, I don't need the funding, by the way. Like my TOS account has got, you know, 50K in it. And so I don't necessarily need the funding. And I'm not going to pretend to, you know, do whatever. I'd rather just be real about it. Here's the market pulling back a little bit, but we're very flat. Yeah, jobless claims tomorrow, but CPI is tomorrow, guys. CPI is the big one, right? CPI is the very relevant one, the really important one. Yeah, CPI is the big important one. John, how are investing in oil? Oil, I'm in Exxon right now. And I'm green on it, by the way, but we're slightly green. Our average is 106.23. And it's at 106.90s, and so we were much more green. Maybe we should have taken profit, but yeah. So the Fed minutes report is today, Raven. So it's not the big one. It's not the actual FOMC, but it's a decent sized one. You know, we'll have thousands of people here live for this too. All right, so we're going to bounce up a little bit. I'll probably short into this little pop again. We have a cushion on the day now. I'm pretty sure my P&L is a little skewed. Quant Tower is great, but sometimes the P&L is a little off. So we got a cushion on the day. I'm pretty sure we got at least $100. And the P&L is just being funky. All right, so we're going to take 2 contracts here. Short. So futures is open. You know, there is no pre-market in futures, Cindy. Again, I'm day trading futures. And so futures, there's no PDT rule. It's open the full session of pre-market. You can day trade with no PDT restrictions. There we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and take another half off, lock that in. Still grinding this up. But yeah, there's no PDT in futures. And again, I'm getting exposure to day trading the S&P. Right, so this is basically the S&P 500, which is very similar to large cap movement. Like if you want to day trade futures, is probably where you should be, in all honesty. And again, Top Step's the most legit. If you want to try it out, here's the link. All right, so we took another profit, and then we're sitting on the rest. Still pretty flat, honestly, based off of this report. The market's much more flat than a lot of people expected it to be today, I think. Again, the Fed minutes report will be an influence over markets too. Wow, look at this dip. I don't know why. That's a slam down too, man. All right, we'll go ahead and lock that in. All right, so here's our P&L so far today. That's a slam down candle. So yeah, we're up 130. I thought it would have been more. I guess I got a bad fill on the other one. No, we're not getting down to 2% anytime soon. That's for sure. But producer prices is not the one you want to look at for that. You want to look at the CPI and the PCE report. Yeah, I'm in Nike as well. I'm pretty sure I'm green. I bought Nike. I don't remember where I bought it. My average price on Nike is $90.56. We're almost up to 100 on Nike. So my Nike swing is doing okay too. It's a very small size. Yeah, I mean, roll, like I said, dude, just like a friendly warning, bro. And again, I'm not mad or anything, but communicating with everybody here like you have been, you're not going to last long here, bro. And maybe you don't care, and that's okay if you don't, but like antagonizing, saying I told you so, pressuring people to do different things, and like, you know what I mean? In the end, you're just not going to last long here, brother. Just a heads up, dude. Again, it's all good. But yeah. choppiness till tomorrow. CPI, yeah, choppiness for CPI reports. Ahead of these reports, we got a lot of stuff, and it's a weird report. Again, CPI drops tomorrow. Usually CPI is first, PPI is the next day. This time, CPI is tomorrow and PPI is first. And so it's just a different order than normal. Bitcoin down to 20.7. What does gold do? Gold didn't really react either. And again, this is a very underwhelming reaction, I would say, from PPI. Very underwhelming reaction here. So I think the market's kind of waiting and holding its breath for CPI tomorrow, as well as, again, the Fed minutes report today. $18.70. Yeah, gold's trying. PPI. Yeah, I mean, you're just toxic, dude. Good day to you, sir. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know why people act that way. I mean, you can see it as name that, like, they're toxic. Most of the time, they're just mad. You know, they're like, let it out. I mean, you're banned for life here, but, like, let it out, dude. It's okay. You know, being mean to streamers is not going to make you feel better about your life, sir. You know, good day to you. It's been a while since I had a good day. It's been a while since I had a good day, sir, in chat. And so I'm actually kind of happy I get to use my emojis. Good day, sir. You get nothing. Goodbye. Have a good life. I'm sure he'll be back with another fake name. Did I ban the wrong guy? Hold on, wait. Did I ban the wrong guy? Maybe I did. Let me see. Who did I ban? Did I ban somebody else? If I did, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ban you. Oh, they're gone. Okay, maybe they did get banned in here. Yeah, hey, if you were banned, say something, okay? Market's trying to bounce back. Might need that second cup of that second cup of coffee. It's an actual name. Nah, listen. Yeah, I know that's the point, Raven. That's the joke, brother. Yeah, I went on a banning streak. Yeah, look, if I win the Powerball, bro, you're not getting the money, dude. Now, like, watch me win the $2 billion, and he's just gonna be super mad. But sorry, if his now he's told me his real name too, so I'm gonna start asking for ID. Gold pushing up. Honestly, the dollar index is moving down. Gold's pushing up. The SPY's pretty flat. Not the biggest negative reaction. I told you guys PPI was weird. I would love it. Like, I like expected reactions. Like, I love stuff to be able to come in really high for inflation data and get drops, and low for inflation data and get bounces, right? I like it to be really logical in terms of reactions. But PPI is not one of those logical reports where the market's going to be super logical in terms of its reaction. Again, I've seen a lot of PPI reports where they came in much higher and the market ripped up. Much lower, market ripped down. And so it's just not a logical report a lot of the time. Now, maybe longer term when you zoom out, it's a little bit more so. But with that said, look, here's the SPY ripping up. Here's the Dixie moving down. Very strange movement to higher inflation. You know, worse inflation data causing markets to go up is very odd and not logical. But hey, if the market was that easy, everybody would be rich. It really would be. If it was as simple as waiting for an inflation report to come in high and then clicking short, or waiting for an earnings report to come in good and then clicking buy, everybody would be rich. You know, you'll learn very quickly the market's just not that easy. I wish it was, but it's not. What time do you start your day? I usually get up at like 4:35 a.m. All right, guys. Yeah, what's really weird, right, is like I banned him, but I still see his comments on a StreamYard. And so it's like, I don't know. Can y'all see Rolo's comments? Which is very strange. I keep losing the funding test. I'm going to start to GoFundMe to help me pass. It's bad. Look, I can tell you how I pass. I can't teach you how to pass it yourself because every trader's different, man. Like every trader's a little bit different in terms of how they move and how they trade, right? I can tell you what I did though to pass it. What I did specifically to pass those funded account programs is very simple. Again, I can show you my P&L here. Yeah, what's weird, and I don't know, like I'm on StreamYard. I can actually see his comments right now. He's talking about, oh no, the 2 billion. It's weird, man. Usually, like I ban somebody, I can't I can't see their comments, man. I can actually see. And y'all can't. So it's like he's just out and, you know. But it's all good, Rolo. Listen, I'm just kind of trolling you a little bit because it's you know, best part of waking up is trolling you, man. But yeah, that's odd. Yeah, he's the ghost of Rolo. I see in the chat. Anyways, nah, man. Yeah, screaming into the void. But no. What was I gonna say, man? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh man, what I was gonna say. That laugh caught me off guard. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, the way I pass these funded account programs is very simple and it's logical. Okay, it's logical. All right. Now you have to have discipline, but if you can have discipline, it's going to make it a lot easier. Now I'm going to preface it with like, you might have to reset. You might have to, you might have to try a couple times to get it right. Most people are not going to get it funded on their first try. But I've talked about this before. It's incredibly simple. You build up a cushion. When you first build up that cushion, number one, do not trade the NASDAQ. Number one, the NASDAQ is too volatile for your cushion building process. And so you got a couple options. You can either trade the E-mini, which only one contract of the regular E-mini. You should never buy more than one contract in the account cushion building stage of your day, right? And I do this every day. You'll see it. It's very consistent. I do the same thing every day. I build up a cushion. After I've built up a cushion, now sometimes I'm using the regular E-mini with just one contract, and I'm taking small scalps, $30, $40, $50 scalps. I get 4 of those. I got $200 if it's $50 each, right? Or I can trade more contracts of the micro, or I can trade the micro E-mini, the micro NASDAQ, and just buy like 3 contracts of that and build up a cushion. Regardless, you're going to run into more commissions with the micros, but I digress back. So regardless, you build up a cushion first. You look for, whatever the size of the cushion you can take to feel more comfortable. That's what you do. So I usually look for a $200 cushion, right? Right now we got about $120, $110, $120 in profit, or we got 125. And so if I can build up another 75, $100, then we're good. Once I do that, if it's a choppy day, you might just want to walk away. But if you want to get funded quickly, you need to shoot for making anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500 in any day, right? You need to shoot for either $1,000 or $1,500 in any day. And so with that mindset, if you want to get funded on like the base combine, the 50K combine, you need to make that $1K to $1,500 each day if you want to get funded quickly, right? Once you build the cushion, then you load up your size a little bit more. You don't load up crazy size. You don't take 5 contracts at the NASDAQ. You take, 2 contracts, 3 contracts after you build up that cushion. If you lose there, then you're back to square one. Then you scale back down and you take small size again. You go back to 1 contract of the regular E-mini, multiple of the micros if you want, and you build that cushion up again. And if you lose more than $200, you walk away. You stop. You don't keep pushing. You have to be able to walk away. Open more than 1 account if you want to be able to lose more than that and keep trading. So you can just trade a different account, which is fine. I do that as well, right? But then once you do that, when you start to trade larger, as long as you can get into some good rhythms, you're going to have days where you can make, as long as you're trading the right strategies, you're going to have days where you can make $1,000, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 in a day. And then once you have that cushion, again, you want to do the same thing every day. So regardless of how much profit you have in the account, you want to do the same thing every day. If you do that every day, and you try at least a couple times, you're going to get funded eventually. And so that's how I get funded. It's very simple. And I honestly use the same system once I'm funded, right? So once I'm funded, I use the same logic, the same mentality. I build up a cushion. If I'm up on the day and I want to take larger risks, great. If I'm not up on the day and I lose over $200, I walk away, and that preserves my account. But by doing it like that, it just makes perfect sense, man. It's kind of the right way to do it, I think. With these funded account programs specifically, I mean, you can do it on your regular accounts as well, like regular trading, but this is the way that I do it. And again, I've been funded on three accounts at least over the last couple of months. So, and it works really well. It works really well. Yeah, you can use micros, but the commissions are going to be higher, brother. I'm using Quant Tower on Top Step. So I don't have a 120K funded account. I've got about 120K in buying power in an actual account, in my TD Ameritrade account. And so my stock portfolio right now, I took some out to pay taxes. So it's got like 45 or 50K in it. It's got, like, right now, I think I probably have a couple 100,000 in buying power to trade with on TOS. So this left side is Quant Tower. The right side is TOS. Dollar index breaking down too. So look at the dollar index fall. SPY's moving up. Again, very underwhelming reaction for PPI, coming in higher than expected. Now, what this means is, like, we could correct later on with that type of stuff, or we could just keep bouncing. I'm not sure. Don't aim for 1,500. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to make $1,500. But the way I look at it, Justin, is like the longer time it takes to get funded, the more opportunity for account losses, right? So like the longer you have that account, like eventually a lot of traders are just not disciplined and they lose it. And I'm the same way sometimes too. If it's in an actual combine account, because discipline, yeah, when you're trading a combine account versus like a funded account or an actual account, you have less discipline. After you're funded hybrid, you have to pay an activation fee, but then you don't have the monthly fee anymore. Then you just have the funded account. So you have to activate your funded account. I think it's like $150, and then once you do that, then you're good, and you don't have to pay it. $1 minute, 5 minute, depends on the time frame. I mean, their business model is both, Brain, but I can't really fault them for it. Again, like if Top Step was $400 a month, it would be different, right? But Top Step is $50 a month, brother. $50 a month. Like some paper trading accounts, and considering the resources that Top Step gives you for that $50, you get free funding coaches, you get like all these different resources that you can use. Like to put it into perspective, like some of the data that they give you, like Quant Tower and other platforms have like heat maps and like all these different things that are typically that you have to pay for outside of Top Step, right? So you're getting a lot of stuff for $50, right? And so I can't really knock them for it. They're providing a service, and I think the service is useful and valuable. I think, again, the PDT rule is one of the most ridiculous rules the market ever has, because most new traders lose money. Like a large majority of new traders are going to lose money. And so the PDT rule, like, it makes new traders trade 25 grand for their first day trading account. It's an absolutely obscene, ridiculous rule, because you're making new traders trade very large in terms of account size for their first account. And no new trader has risk management for the most part. And so a new trader can either choose to put up 25K and risk that. And people can say, oh, well, why don't they just scale down their size and trade small? Again, no new trader has risk management. Not that I know of, at least. And so, you can try to do it with 25K to get around the PDT rule, or you can try it in futures. Either way, you're going to be putting up much more than $50, right? And so I think it's a good learning thing. Like, if you're good enough to pass it, you can get funded. If you're not good enough, you're going to lose much less than you would putting up the money up yourself. And so in that regard, I can't really knock them for making money. Of course, they're going to make money. They're a business just like anybody else. I'm on YouTube to make money. Like, if I wasn't making money, no offense, but I wouldn't be sitting here for 4 hours a day or more sometimes. Like, nobody would be. And I'd rather somebody that's just honest and Top Step's honest, Yeah, risk management is super important. If you have a cash account, well, on all brokers, most brokers at least, if you have a cash account, there's no PDT rule, and that's fine. But you're going to be severely restricted. And again, you're coming from somebody that's done it. Like, I've done this. Like, I've traded a cash account. You either have to trade penny stocks, which is way more risky than trading blue chips or the futures market, in my opinion, at least. Or you're going to be severely restricted. You're only going to be able to go long. And so if you can only go one direction, your bias is going to be so big in terms of like directional that it's not going to be profitable either. Like, if you can only go long, the only patterns you're going to see are long patterns, if you can only go short, the only patterns you're going to see is short patterns, right? And so only being able to go long with limited amount of trades per day is a very restrictive way to trade. I think, like, PDT wise, it's going to make much more sense. It would make much more sense if they let you trade a small account. Like, if you could trade a $4,000 account with no PDT rule, think about how much less risky that would be than forcing somebody to trade a 25K account for their first account, right? And so the PDT rule does not help traders. It ends up allowing the banks to sit on your money a little bit longer is what it does. And it is what it is, but yeah, it's just PDT rules are ridiculous. And the futures market gets you around that, All right, guys. Again, SPY still at 436. Very strange market, man, where the market has actually ripped up. Market is actually green from this report. Higher inflation data causes green action in the market here. And so, hey, maybe the bull market is back. Here's the dollar index, which is kind of what we're looking at here on the right side. Again, here's the Dixie. Here's the Q, which is basically the NASDAQ. And then here's Tesla. Again, Tesla's still pretty green too, man. Weird day. Green action. Again, green action. Stock market, the Magnificent Seven, is at an uncomfortably high level and nothing seems to affect it. Wars and escalation, sticky inflation, enormous debt, dysfunctional politics, crazy times. Yeah, I mean, it's not that crazy though. Again, a lot of people, like, the market's not that crazy right now. Again, I think one thing that gets people is media. Like, the media makes you think that we're in like a never-ending state of like chaos. Like, the world's a crazy thing. It always has been crazy. The only reason it seems crazier today is because we got 24/7 news coverage. Think about the history, the last 1,000 years. Think about how many crazy wars, how many crazy dictators, how many crazy things have happened throughout the world. The Cold War, like this is all really crazy stuff. And so, the difference is, like, back then you didn't have news coverage reporting on it 24/7, getting the, covering that stuff within seconds of it happening like we do now, right? So we have so much access to data and technology that it's kind of like an overload to the human brain, to where it's like, if you watch politics especially, and politicians' job are to make the other side look bad. right? And so whoever's in power, the other side's going to be saying it's just the worst we could ever be right now, right? And it's on both sides. I'm not picking sides here. It's on both sides. And so if you get really wrapped up in that, especially if you really root for one specific side, when the other side's in power, you're going to think the world is just going crazy, like it's just the end of the world all the time, like the world's just chaos, right? But if you look back at the history of the world objectively, I think there's been much more crazy times than we're in now. You know, the world's actually in a pretty peaceful time, all things considered, even with things going on overseas right now, you know. Yeah, again, SPY broke highs again. I guess I could buy this dip. We got a cushion, kind of a cup and handle breakout pattern, so we can buy the dip. I don't really trust it, and I think we could have some choppiness. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have bought this. I'm going to try one more contract here, just to trade with the risk that we have on the day. And if not, we'll cut it and we'll come back at the opening bell. Maybe hopefully do a little bit better. But again, it's very flat. My worry is that we're going to get choppiness, especially with the FOMC minutes report coming out later today. My worry is that we're going to get choppiness. And yeah, I'm just going to have to cut this pretty soon. I'm going to let it, if it breaks this low, I'll cut it and we'll be down like $100. Very close to cutting it. All right, so we just lost, you know, solid amount. We lost like $200. Again, it's all right. Like we built up a pretty good cushion here in these accounts, and we got a couple of them, and so you know we'll probably have to switch accounts and go to a different one than we have now, because I don't want to take too big of losses on any like one specific account. So we will go here. And again, the good thing about Top Step is you can open up more than one. Oh yeah, no, war's big business, dude. You know, and again, I talked about it yesterday, but a lot of presidents think that it's not a successful presidency unless there's a war going on. You know, I'm not saying the current one does. I'm just saying like a lot of presidents have said that, and so it is like a standard of like. I think the way the politicians look at it is the most memorable presidents were ones that happened in conflicts or in times of conflict, and so. You know, a lot of them want to be stapled into the history books. And so with that, you know, it's a business is all I'm saying. All right, gold's still pumping up here. We did get a bounce. Maybe I just got wimped out of there, and that's okay. I'm a huge wimp sometimes in trading, so it's all good. But where'd it go? There it is. All right, so we did get a pop up, man. Maybe I should have stayed in it. It looked like a cup and handle. I think I took too large a size. I probably should have stuck with smaller size. Again, to put it into perspective, yesterday we made 270 on this account. So like we're still all right. Make sure this is the right one. I think this is the right one. Okay, yeah. All right, so we did bounce all the way back up. So I was actually right about the direction too, unfortunately. High PPI is good for lowering inflation because the more good producers produce, the more likely they are to reduce prices and have ordered to offload their excess goods. Just like, yeah, and I understand that dynamic of it too, Theo. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple. Again, we got funded last week on one. We haven't really traded too much on that one that we got last week. Here was how I got funded. And so again, here was my equity curve in the one we actually got funded in on last Friday. And so we actually had no losing days on it. We had 100% winning days. We did it in 4 days. You see, like I said, we built up a cushion, made 1K the first day, small gains the next day, made about $700 the next day, and then the next day we finished it off with like a $1,200-$1,300 day, and ended up making it pretty quickly there, getting funded pretty fast. You can see we ended it like this, where best day of profit was about 46%. So you can't make more than 50% profit on any individual day. So the last day I made about 1,400. Worst day I only made about 167. My average winning day was about $800. In the end, we made it to 53, 1,070 or so. Yeah, for sure. I said the micros are too many commissions though. Day trading with Devin, so like the micros, the problem with them is like you got to take 3, 4, and they just build up like commission. And then it's also like if my system's not broke, don't fix it. And so it's like, and I'm not mad at you. You're just offering a suggestion, so it's all good. But like again, if my system's working, I'm just gonna keep doing it like I'm doing it. I don't really trade micros much anymore. I used to be a big believer in them, but again, the commissions make it really hard to make small gains with them anyway. And so, you know, you can take 4 contracts and try to make $50 and then have a lot of that taken away from commissions trading micros, or you could take 1 contract of the regular E-mini, pay less in commission, and just keep your risk small. But you got to keep it at 1 contract of the regular E-mini. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money or anything, but that's how I do it. I don't really trade the micros anymore. I just trade 1 micro NASDAQ. Yeah, you must be longer term trades though. Like a lot of the time I'm scalping. And so I understand that logic if you're taking like a 20-minute like trend trade, you know, 1 contract of the micro NASDAQ probably moves plenty for like a longer term trade. But if you're scalping like me, commissions are going to eat that up. Yeah, definitely top 3. I'm in ARM right now, actually. I bought it IPO day. Our average price here is 63s. It's at 56 right now. But again, it's kind of a, I don't know if it's an investment, but we'll see. Yeah, what's really weird is that like I could see Rollo talking on StreamYard. I don't know if Rollo can understand. Nobody else can see you, bro. I don't think y'all can. Can y'all see him? Saadi's still there. No, yeah, that's weird, dude. When I look on YouTube, I can't see him, but on StreamYard, I can. It's very weird. It's funny though. Yeah, we're pretty neutral, honestly, right now. We're pretty flat. Maybe the opening bell will give us some volatility. And again, we do have the Fed minutes report coming out. So it's a big report here, guys. Again, we do have the Fed minutes report. It's a pretty big report coming out live. We got 50 minutes or so until the market opens, so we'll stick around. Yeah, it's so weird. Like, you never know people making other accounts. Yeah, for sure, Eric. It takes some time. You got to condition yourself. Yeah, I don't know what I did, but somehow I can see him. But yeah, YouTube's a really strange place, bro. Like people create fake accounts and they think that it's less obvious than it is. You know, like I don't know how many people I hear that I can obviously see they're creating fake accounts to agree with themselves, and then they're communicating back and forth with themselves to get validation. You know, like I see it, and some of it's just really obvious. And I see it a lot. Certain people here I've seen it with too. And I want you guys to know that I know it's you. I can see it. You know. But what you learn is people are weird, especially market-wise. I think there's a lot of egos in the market. I've got an ego too. Definitely top 3, most humble ever, but definitely got an ego. Rolos, dude. Ooh, man, it's been a while since I had those. Those are those caramel little those caramel little drum looking candies, right? A while since I had one. Yeah, there they are. Been a minute. Nah, you're good, Eric. Yeah, all good, dude. I know what you did last summer. Created fake accounts. Yeah, man. Again, I've had some weird people, bro. Like, I'm always hesitant to tell people in real life, like, about my channel, because I tell them about my channel, bro, and like you get older people who think they're slick, but they're just not, and they end up, like trying to manipulate me in different ways by like creating fake accounts and being like, hey guys, you know, look at Bill's post. Bill's the greatest. You know, you should make Bill co-host. You know what I mean? And I think at a certain point it's obvious. I really don't like to be manipulated either. And so that's the single easiest way to get me to just kind of say, all right, like I'm not going to have anything to do with you. The Volt guy stopped showing up, huh? Yeah, Pawn sees it from the inside, dude. He really does. Do you ever use rent money to trade? What rent money, bro? I don't pay rent. Oh, all right, guys. Opening bell. We got 17 minutes. 17 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be. I'm not claiming to be super rich or anything like that. But I don't rent for sure. United Health. I don't know about UNH, man. I'm skeptical of pharmaceutical and healthcare stocks, even with UNH being one of the big boys. Maybe I should diversify into the medical sector more. I just haven't with investments. I just haven't. Yeah, it's all good for him. Yeah. Yeah, will the tech rally continue, man? I don't know, dude. Honestly, we're getting a pullback now. The market is very flat, very flat. PPI report came out. Again, the report dropped right here. And again, we're still pretty neutral. Look at this. So the report dropped right here. And we are right here. And so relative to this report, we're pretty flat. We haven't really done much. Market's not really super green. Not really. I mean, it's green on the day by far. Like, it's still very green on the day because the previous close was way back here, right? So the day started and we are gapping up nicely, like way back here. So SPY and S&P are green on the day. Market overall is incredibly green over the last week or so, I would say. The SPY is all the way back up to 436s. It was at like 420s a couple days ago. So it's pushed from 420s to 437s, 436. So it's up, you know, $15 a share alone on the SPY. So, you know, it's up like 4%, 5% over the last week or so, which is great. You know, it's great. I'm glad the market's bouncing. Again, we were right at the bottom of the trend line. I think it's been very clear that the trend we've been in. But yeah. Brock Purdy. Jim Cramer. I haven't been following Cramer as much lately. Has the Cramer curse been broken yet? You know, did Cramer make any good picks lately? Or they're all pretty bad still? All right, so here's a weird stat from a car dealership person on Twitter. In 2019, 23 grand bought a 3-year-old used car. 23K, 3-year-old used car. Today, right? Today, 23,000 won't even buy a 6-year-old used car, right? And so car prices have seen crazy fluctuations. Birkenstock, dude. So are Birkenstock the IPO? Is this the shoe company? Is this the actual shoe company, Birkenstock? All right, so we are getting a dip back down in the SPY. SPY pulling back a little bit, still pretty flat from this report. Is this the actual shoe company, Birkenstock? Kramer just likes to talk. I still remember the guy who asked about what he should do with $10. Yeah, I mean, my answer is always the same. If you got less than $500, right? Don't ask me what you should do with that money. You know, I'm always gonna say the same freaking thing. I'm always gonna say the same thing, which is if you got less than $500, find a new job, dude. You know what I mean? Like, again, if you want to invest. If you got $500, put it in the market. Like, I'm okay with that. Buy bonds. Do whatever you want to do with it. Like, if I had $500, I'd probably use it to start to build a portfolio at least. Like, I'd start to build that, or I'd spend it on some type of skill education, like learning other skills so I can make more money. I don't mean buy a day trading course, because those are all mostly a fugazi, you know, forget about it. But I would use it to find some type of skill. What would you do if you had less than $500? Get a union job. Yeah, hey, maybe. Right now, definitely. 120-year-old German shoe company. Yeah, but see, I grew up in the 90s, bro. And in the 90s, you weren't cool if you didn't have a pair of Jinko jeans and Birkenstocks, you know. really, I wore like Jinko jeans and Airwalks, but everybody also had a pair of Birkenstocks in the day because like those were cool, right? So you have like baggy jeans and a pair of Birkenstocks, like leather shoes. You know, those were like the cool things in the 90s. I use my 500 on learning stocks. Yeah, maybe. I had a skateboard and Airwalks. I could skateboard. Like I was a skateboarder when I was young. I was good too. I was okay. I'm not gonna say I was great, but I was all right. Nowadays they got like little 7-year-olds doing freaking 360 flips off of 10 stairs and stuff like that. It wasn't like that at the time. Back then, if you could kick flip, you were good. You know. Etnies, yeah, I had some etnies for sure. I can tell you now, I'd probably lose that $500. All right, guys. Hey, market is very neutral ahead of the opening bell. We got 8 minutes left. 8 minutes. Also, guys, check out Chart Prime, man. Chart Prime, genuinely useful. Trading view indicator service. Again, I showed people this the other day, and I use this a lot. But you know, you can use these things to help these funded account programs as well. I'm not going to say you can pass them with this, but you can definitely use them to help, I think. Chart Prime is a trading view indicator service. So you can use it in stocks, crypto, forex, futures, essentially anything that's on trading view, you can use it on, right? But I like using the regular market oracle, and I always tell people the same thing. Like my big edge on Chart Prime comes from looking for a reversal signal and an engulfing candle simultaneously, right? Roughly simultaneously. And again, the accuracy is crazy good for me, at least. Right. So here's a great example, right? Here's a good example. If you get one that shows up right around the same spot, like within like 15 minutes, like within 3 candles or so, very, very good breakdown potential if it's on the downside, or upside potential if it's on the upside. And again, even their dynamic reactor, which is like their own version of the VWAP. Look at this. It's right here. It bounced right back at that level too. So again, when you use all of them together, they can be powerful. And again, if we keep going back here, look, again, you can test this yourself. This one might be wrong. But again, what I will tell you is like, there might be ones that are right or wrong in any particular, say, look, here's one within 3 candles. But when you look and you back test this yourself, it's crazy good, to be honest, for me at least. Again, it's subjective, but it's crazy good. Look, and I think I haven't really back tested this yet. And again, other people with Chart Prime, y'all might be able to help me out a little bit more. But when multiple engulfing candles shows up at the same time, so look at it here, the reversal signal and the 2 bullish engulfing candles, one here and one here, crazy good action. And this is like 3 hours of bullish action afterwards. And so again, you can use that. That's called the regular market oracle. You can also use any time frame you want. You can use long-term, short-term. I can put up an hourly chart and use this long-term. I can put up chart patterns. I can look up the Market Oracle Pro. All this stuff, and it's crazy useful, to be honest. It's crazy useful. Again, test it out yourself if you haven't yet. These buy and sell signals can be like really, really powerful. And when you start like grouping them together, right? So like here's an example of an engulfing candle and a sell signal within like 20 minutes. Boom. Crazy good breakdown potential. And so again, test it yourself. There's a lot of ways to do it. I would look at individual stocks, individual indicators. You can use it on Tesla, Apple, whatever you want to use it on. Again, it's $40 a month. It's crazy cheap. And again, I find it incredibly useful. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased in their favor. But again, if you want to check it out, you can hit that promo code right there. Again, they are a sponsor. I'm definitely biased in their favor. I'm always honest with people about it. But again, crazy useful, in my opinion. Crazy useful. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Go to plumber school. Yeah, the problem with plumbing is that you got to be an apprentice for so long. How long do you have to be a plumber's apprentice? $4,000 hours. Right. So let's say you work 8 hours a day. Let's say you work eight hours a day as a plumber's assistant, right? And that's probably stretching it, but we can go with that one. It's going to take you 2 years, basically. And that's saying you work every freaking day, which is not even close. It's more going to take like 3 years if you exclude weekends and stuff like that. And so that's the problem, is it takes so long, and you're going to get paid nothing for that period of time. Like, no offense, but if I got to do something for 3 years, I'm going to go become a freaking lawyer or something. You know, I know it's going to take longer than that to become an attorney, but the point is, I'm going to do something else that's going to pay me much more if it's going to take me 3 years to get that. But again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not hating on plumbers. I know it's hard work. It's good work. And I know it pays well too. But yeah. Hey, my guy, Buzzed. Dumb question. Do these indicators appear live or pop up a little after the fact? Have a good one. So they usually pop up one candle after the candle that they show up as. Right? So pretty close to live. But about one candle later. You know. But even the ones I've showed you, like a lot of the time, if it doesn't break down fully after that, I usually count it as a fail. But even with counting it like that, again, when you back test it, you start to see some cool stuff. Yeah, I didn't say 2. I said 3 years. If it takes 3 years to become a lawyer, and then I also clarified that, like, I know it's going to take much longer to become a lawyer. But my point is, if it's going to take that long, I'm going to become like an electrician or a welder or something like that, which is usually going to pay more than a plumber, I think, right? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, but in Cali, it doesn't matter, Daniel, because it's going to cost so much to live that it's going to take away anything. It's kind of like baseball, right? Like, people in New York and California, you know, people are declining offers down in cheaper places to live so that they can pick the bigger contract in those other states. And again, the problem, though, is that it costs so much to live there that's going to take a lot of that away. You know, you buy $1 million home in Texas, you're getting a mansion, you know, for $1 million. You buy $1 million home in Cali, you're going to get a little 2-bedroom shack. And so there's just a difference. And I love Cali. I think it's beautiful. And I think real estate appreciates pretty well there too, or at least it has. And so, you know, it still might be good investments either way. I'm not hating on either one, but there's certainly differences there. Hey, we got less than 2 minutes left. Yeah, so here's the opening bell, guys. We got less than a minute. Again, busy day today, man. Busy day. I'm ready. All right, guys, here's the opening bell. We got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. PPI coming in higher than expected. Oh, yeah, if I won the Powerball, I'm moving. Yeah, Cali's, yeah, I don't know, dude. It depends. Tesla's still bumping up. Look at Tesla at 266 here. Tesla up to 266. All right, so here's the open, guys. Good luck. There's the opening bell. Again, Tesla up at the open. NVIDIA, we're watching that test here, dipping down a little bit too. Yeah, I'm not saying, I think in Texas, yeah, I mean, I can respect blue collar workers. I think it's hard work and it's good money. I can respect it. We need them. All right, guys. Hey, we're popping up a little bit at the opening bell. Again, Tesla at 267s. NVIDIA popped all the way up to 463s before retracing back down some. Again, the E-mini has moved up since the opening bell. We are pushing up some here. Get NVIDIA starting to creep up. Tesla starting to reject here, coming back down some. Let's watch NVIDIA to see if Tesla and these two hold. All right, guys. So again, we're starting to head up a little bit. Look at Tesla back up to 267s, NVIDIA at 463s. So we're trying here. Hey, we're moving. Again, market's been very green the last couple days too, man. So, you know, I'm forward holding, man. Let's see if it does. Again, Tesla rejecting at 267. Pretty flat so far. But again, I mean, the market looks good again today, man. Very green action so far. Walgreens is very green today, too. And I'm in Walgreens. I'm still down, but I'm pretty much flat now. Yeah, freaking Roblox, dude. Like, we're still not green in our Roblox $30 call option. And it's at 31.30. This is why I hate options. Like, we're still not green. And it's well over $30. Home Depot. Look at NVIDIA rip. So again, we've got so much green, I'm hesitant to buy right now. I'm going to let things settle down first. NVIDIA push it over highs, almost up to 464s. Right underneath 464s at 463.60. Still pushing up. It's dragging most of the markets up with it. Tesla pushing up as well. It's at about 268 right now too. So they're both pushing up pretty heavy. Again, the SPY up to 436s. Microsoft up pretty big too. Got a little dip though. Part of me wants to buy the dip, but I just don't trust it. We're still learning a little SPY trade too. Snapchat, we're still flat. All right, something's popping up here. I'm trying to see what it is. PayPal, right it back up today. That looks good. All right, so SPY still testing up. Again, we're kind of slow right now. We're just waiting for some type of edge, I think. What is pushing up right now so heavy? Everything kind of, I guess. Target. I'm in Target too. I guess I'll go ahead and take some profit there. There we go. Locked in a little bit more on Target. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA hasn't had one red candle on a 1 minute chart since the opening bell. Not one. Tesla still pushing up over 268s as well. Looks good. And Roblox still churning up here. Hey, how you doing? Huh? What?
So we're gonna have to go in a few minutes.
Okay.
Morning.
Everybody say hey to Carol. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, man. Market's pushing up a lot. Market basically rebounded a lot. So here's the SPY. So like here's the S&P right here. It was down a lot, like on the here's the year. If you want to see what the year looks like on the S&P. Again, people acting all doom and gloom. The market's up a lot, and we've been in the same trend. You know, we talked about this low of the trend here being at 420, and the market has held that level really well. So we're starting to finally bounce up again. We got some interesting levels. One of the ones I drew on the SPY here, if you look at it, is yesterday's high at 437.20s. Nvidia is still pushing up again. Nvidia is dragging the market up. Like, don't get it twisted. Nvidia is really what's moving the market up right now. Because Nvidia is it's such a heavily weighted stock that influences the market in that way. That's what's going on here. Yeah, there's Carol. Y'all might not be able to see her. Oh, there she is.
Morning. Morning, everyone. Hope y'all are doing well.
Yeah, I mean, the homeless situation, man, like, I just got to be honest. Like, I'm not here to judge anybody, but I also think that most of them are addicted to stuff. You know what I mean? And like, I know they'll blame it on other stuff because I think it's very hard for people to look at the situation objectively. I think a lot of them struggle with addiction. And like, they'll say, oh, well, being homeless made them addicted. I don't think that's true. I think what made them homeless was addiction. You know, and I've seen it happen to friends of mine. Like, I had friends that I grew up with that became addicted to stuff, and it didn't happen right away, but slowly over time they valued their possessions less and less and less and less and less, until eventually there became a breaking point where they lost their house, right? And instead of being able to save up, because being addicted to stuff makes it really hard to save, right? Instead of being able to save up rent money, they instead spent it on other things, and then they don't have a place to stay, and that's what kind of sparks that type of thing. And it's unfortunate, and I wish them the best. I don't judge them at all for it. Life is tough, and so I'm not here to judge. But
an addiction could happen to anyone.
Yeah, for sure, addiction really can.
Like,
you know, and again,
addiction doesn't discriminate.
100%.
So.
Yeah. Anyways, Roblox I'm still red in the trade. I mean, we're green on the day, but we're watching Walgreens. Doesn't Walgreens have earnings sometime soon? When are earnings for Walgreens? Again, the S&P has mostly been flat. Look at this pullback, though. It's a large pullback here. Look at that pullback here.
What causes addictions, though? I mean,
Everything,
I think it
man.
could be hereditary. It can be environmental. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it really, truly doesn't discriminate. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying there's outliers. There's not outliers. It's bad. I understand there certainly are. You know. So again, I'm not here to judge. I know that's not universally true, but I think it's a large majority. You know, and again, the reason I think that, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I've seen it happen with friends, man. I've grew up with people who just got addicted to stuff, never got off of it, stayed in my hometown, and then, you know, they just slowly, you can kind of see it. I can follow them on social media and just kind of see it over time, you know. Anyways, Nvidia, watch Nvidia, guys. We're looking to bounce. All right, baby.
I gotta go bring Jack's.
All right, hey.
Yeah, all right.
Here, hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
All right, everyone.
All right, guys. Carol's out.
Bye, y'all. Good luck in the market.
Yeah. Yeah, market's not doing too bad. You know, it's green. It's been pretty green the last few days. We'll see if it holds. We got a lot of stuff coming out. Like later on today, I've got FOMC minutes, and then tomorrow we have CPI, and then bank earnings on Friday, and then next week we got Tesla earnings. So it'll be busy.
Okay. All right, y'all.
All right, baby.
Wishing y'all a blessed day here. So, all right, baby.
All right, baby. Love you. All right. Yeah, it's tough, man. And the problem is, like, you can't really let people like that stay at your house too. Like, I had a friend who I hadn't seen in years, bro. The only thing I really saw was that he was on Xbox. Like, I'd played Xbox with him a couple times just to kind of catch up. And like, I hadn't seen this dude in years, and he's obviously struggling and like addicted to stuff. And he's like, "Hey, bro, can I come stay at your house?" And I felt bad, but it's like, no, you absolutely cannot, dude. Because again, I could let him stay here, and then my stuff's gonna go missing. I'm gonna start losing stuff. Stuff's gonna disappear, you know, and then I never see him again. And like, again, I can't judge that behavior, but you know, it is what it is, man. You gotta have standards. Yeah, the FOMC minutes today. It's this afternoon. Rejecting the high of the previous day. Yeah, I mean, we're still pretty flat here, man. Again, I don't know if we're going to go up, down, or sideways. I think the market's fearing the inflation report tomorrow, as well as, you know, anything. Yeah, I'm not trying to hate on anybody that's bad. You know what I mean? I'm really not. Like, I understand, like, listen, dude, I understand bad stuff happens to people unnecessarily. And like, I want to help people however I can, you know. But yeah, it's all good, dude. Again, I'm not judging anybody, you know. Would you say you're addicted to trading? No. I mean, I love trading, but I'm certainly not addicted to it. Like, to be honest, I get excited when there's days off. You gotta understand, I treat it like a business now. And so I think when I first got started, I really missed trading on closed days. I really missed trading. I didn't want the days to end. But, you know, over time, yeah, I mean, over time, over time, you just realize that, like, I enjoy my days off. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, this tattoo I have on my right arm right here. So this tattoo is from one of my best friends that passed away, you know. Man, I don't know how long ago it goes. Passed away 13 years ago, 14 years ago. It was kind of one of those things where we would always joke around and we'd be like, "Yeah, man, if anything ever happened to you, I get you tattooed. I get your initials tattooed on me." You know, we told each other that, and then, you know, he passed away from addiction. Is all I'll really say about it. And so that's where I got the tattoo on my right arm. But so yeah, I mean, I have experience with it as well. I understand. You know, I'm from Baton Rouge, and you know, it's rampant down there. I mean, it's not. I'm in Houston right now. It's not any better here, but you know, you are who you hang out with, and most of my friends were just not doing good stuff. Yeah, I love trading, but again, I'm definitely not. I wouldn't say I'm addicted to it like that. Yeah, I'm not really a big gambler though. Like, again, I never have been. Like, I don't really like gambling. Again, I told the story the other day about going to the casino wanting to play poker and them not having poker, and so us just kind of leaving without spending any more money. And I think most gamblers would have lost everything. And so I'm not really a big gambler. I don't really like. I'm kind of OCD, to be honest. And one of my things is like, I don't care about, like, a lot of the casinos, right? They'll put these big, like, it's overstimulus. It's overstimulating. They'll put all these lights and bright lights and flashing lights and all these different screens and graphics on the slot machines or whatever. But the problem is, like, slot machines are a low edge thing, right? They're designed to milk money from you over time. And so I couldn't imagine being addicted to something like that, right? Like, that's not something that I'm gonna ever have fun doing, Again, I'm not in this for the rush. I would rather there be no emotion connected to it. And I think that's a mindset that you have to have with trading, because a lot of people are just addicted to that rush here too. Again, Amex pushing up today. That's great. Walgreens, what are Walgreens earnings? I know I talked about it before, but yeah, I think you got to treat it like a job. Yeah, no, y'all don't have to apologize. It's all good. My point is, like, that's where my bias with addiction comes from, is that, you know. I love the challenge of trading. Yeah, for sure. Trading is really about conditioning, you know, like it really is about conditioning. Yeah, a lot of people do. Yeah, it's bad. Thanks for the service, man. What do you have to say to people who say trading is gambling? I think it depends on your definition. Market's starting to push back up a lot. You see Rolo getting mad in the chat. He's mad at the market. He keeps telling everybody the market's going to crash, and then the market just rips up. I had to just go ahead and ban him, man. He's too emotional out there, man. Again, you got people who are just kind of like they're upset at their own life, and so they just kind of lash out, and it's all good. But like, good day to you, sir. Again, the E-mini's starting to push back up a little bit too. But again, it depends on your definition. Like if your definition of gambling is risking money, then we gamble in everything, real estate, you know, Pokemon cards, like whatever it is, right? Like those are constant things, right? And I'm not against that. We all have to risk money at some point in life. And in a certain way, like that's what business is risking money, risking time or money, right? Like that's what business is. But what I would say is my definition of gambling is risking money with unfavorable odds, or with at least like with not good probability, good probabilities. I would say risking money with unfavorable odds, right? Is what gambling is. And in that regard, I dislike gambling completely. I'm a big edge player. I was always a poker player or a strategy person. And for those that might not understand poker has a lot of variance, but it's kind of a similar thing to trading, in which if you're a good enough poker player, you might have short-term variance. Like you might do everything right and lose. You might get busted with pocket aces or whatever it is. But when you zoom out, if you keep playing and you get enough volume in, you're going to make money in poker if you're good enough, right? And trading is the same way. Investing is the same way, where short-term you might have variance. You might do everything right in trading and still lose, right? You might take the best A+ setup and still lose, right? But if you continue to do things right, over time, you should make money. Not always. It's never guaranteed. There's always variables there and variance. I mean, but that's the way I think I have to look at it. But again, it's subjective. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, preteen. I mean, most of the time, again, people that don't really understand the market are going to say the market's always in a universal state. Like, it depends on how gullible you are as well. Like whether you're easily manipulated by like news and media outlets and like all this other stuff, right? It depends. If you listen to the news and you're really like one-sided politically, then you might really push for market crash. Like it's the end of the world, like the market's going down, all this different stuff, right? But again, that comes from a misunderstanding about markets, I think. Throughout the market, you're always going to have crash predictors. But what I'll say is that they're not very accurate. I've had people call crashes every day here for the last 2 years, and the market's mostly been pushing up since then. And so in that regard, I think it affects my bias. I might be a little bit too bullish now just because like I see that day in and day out. Again, we haven't really traded that much. We're 20 minutes into the day. Market's very flat. I guess I'll long here, but again, market is very flat. It's probably because of the FOMC minutes report coming out later. All right, so we got a little dip. See if we bounce up a little bit more, and if not, it's not the end of the world. No, I wouldn't say poker has an edge. Poker is very similar to trading. Like calculating pot odds is like calculating risk reward. Like sometimes it makes sense to put money in the pot with a bad hand because there's so much potential reward from it, if that makes sense, right? So poker certainly is a mathematics game. For people that don't understand it, they might not understand why it's a mathematics game, but it's an odds and probability game is what it is. Yeah, we're probably going to cut this. Again, we're just so flat right now that I think the market's anticipating the Fed minutes report, you know. FOMC minutes report drops at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. And again, I'm gonna go. Let me see what else we got today. I think we got. All right, we will pivot to shorting and to more bear-based strategies. The market's still very green, but we will pivot to shorting if we need to. You dig this weather in Houston? I like the cold weather, bro. I always have. Yeah, I'll try to short now, see if we catch it. But again, we're on one of our funded account programs, and I think, like I said, I'm just trying to build up a cushion first. All right, so we're going to short again and see if we just get a little retracement pullback, although we're going to keep our risks tight. Kind of a choppy day, difficult to make money, I would say, today, based off of just flat action. Yeah, I think the whole market's apprehensive right now. And I don't even mind if the market bounces back here because it's so flat, though. Very close to cutting it, too. And maybe I'll get faked out, maybe not. Depends on what NVIDIA does here in Tesla. There's the SPY. Let's look at Tesla. Yeah, Tesla broke down, starting to bounce a little bit, too. It's just so sideways today, man. Again, it makes sense because it's a big economic week. Tomorrow, CPI. Today, the Fed minutes report. Yeah, what a parabolic crash right now that we're in. But no, I'm just getting chopped out left and right. I'm going to give this a second because there we go. All right, we're going to cover there. All right, so we just made some money there on that breakdown. We are now green on the day. We're up like 60, 70 bucks. Yeah, but nothing's really crashing down. I mean, red action is pretty standard. You know, we're actually still pretty flat from this PPI report. And so, sure, if we drop all the way down to here, down here, then maybe he'll be right. But calling for a market crash, I mean, I think the people who usually do it very quickly realize that it's just such a low probability thing. Like, nobody knows when the market's going to crash. And so constantly betting on it, it's just a risky thing. It's just, again, Michael Burry is probably the most common short predictor. And even him, he's only been right about 2 of maybe 25 crash predictions. He's bet on a market crash every year for the last 20 years. And so a lot of people hang on every word he says, but most of the time he's wrong. And his accuracy rate is very low in terms of actually being correct. He's a brilliant dude. I think he's just too short biased. Like, he was very correct about 2008, but Yeah. I know you're probably sarcastic. I just get it a lot so much. Like, again, there's a lot of ego floating around in trading. People are like, yeah, we're going to crash today. Watch. And it's like, all right. And then the market drops like 0.5%. And they're like, see, I told you. And it's like, well. Again, I'm in Roblox right now. I'm still just kind of sitting in this mad. Yeah, we got a little green action. I guess I'm short biased here too. If I have to pick a direction, I'm short biased. But like, we got a little cushion on the day now, and so we'll take some risks, but not too much. All right, so we got 2 contracts here. See if we get a flush breakdown. Like I said, I guess I'm short biased, but so we're flat. I'm just seeing if the market will flush. It's been a while since I did my crypto. We're going to do a crypto show today, guys, so stick around. There it is. What time is that? I'm trying to be patient with this. But again, as soon as we close this stream, team, remember, as soon as we close this stream, we are going to go to our crypto show. And so if you haven't already, again, sub, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. As soon as we go to the crypto show, again, we're short right now. There we go. Let me make sure this is up. And again, if you want to day trade with me on this funded account program, again, check out TopStep. TopStep funded program and futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target while following their rules, they fund you between 50K up to 150K with a 90% split once you're funded. And you get to keep your first 10K in profit. And so what that allows traders to do, again, some paper trading accounts cost more than 40 or 50 bucks, right? The base combine's $49. Some paper trading accounts cost more than that. And so for $49, you're going to get you can get free funding coaches. You're going to get a demo account. And they're going to give you conditions that you have to hit. So the base one, you get a 50K demo. You got to hit 3K in profit without losing over 2K, right? A 2 to 3 ratio, very reasonable ratio. And if you could pass that test, they fund you and follow their rules. They fund you between 50 to 150K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K in profit. And in the futures market, again, there's no PDT rule. You can day trade short in futures without PDT restriction. And again, I'm buy market, buy bid, sell the ask. Very similar to stock trading. The patterns in the S&P or the NASDAQ are very similar to Apple or Amazon because it is it's the S&P 500 futures contract. And so you can day trade essentially the SPY, essentially the Q in futures, and there's no PDT rule. And it's the cheapest way to get your foot in the door if you don't have that much equity is to try out a funded account program. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased in their favor, but we've been funded on multiple accounts over the last months. All right, guys. And again, we are going to get ready to do our crypto show. Let me make sure we're back. I think we got this set. Many different screens up here. All right, so we're slightly green. Again, we're trying to be patient here, but the market's so choppy ahead of this economic report that it's boring. Again, as soon as we go to the stream, hit the like button and the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Pretty flat still. I'm trying to let this trade finish working, but it's so slow. Big breakdown. Nice. Hurry. All right, we just took half off there. We'll go ahead and take the rest off there. So again, not bad. We got about $250 day here on this account. Not too shabby, about a 4-to-1 win-loss ratio on Top Step's funded account right here. All right, this is Top Step's combine. So this is a combine trying to get funded. And again, we'll see if we hold. We'll see if we hold. And again, guys, remember, as soon as I close this stream, we're going to pivot to our crypto show. All right, guys, almost done. All right, so we are basically live right now. And again, I'm finishing up one detail. Again, as soon as we close the stream, it's going to immediately pivot you to the crypto stream. If it doesn't for whatever reason, again, guys, if it doesn't for whatever reason, I'm going to give you the link right here so you can just go to the link. It should redirect you, though. So, like, as soon as we end the stream, it should pivot you to the next one. But if it, for whatever reason, it doesn't, again, here's the news right here. Check it out. It's a different channel. There's the link to the crypto channel. Sorry, guys, I'm putting it up now. And again, we are going to go ahead and end this crypto show, or end the show, and we're going to pivot to the crypto show right now. All right. Yeah, guys. So again, it should bring you there. If it doesn't, it's youtube.com/beginnercrypto. Love you all. Y'all be safe. Again, I'll see you over to the crypto show. When we get there, hit that live button, guys. We appreciate it. All right. So that show is live again. I'll see you guys over there.